Welcome back, Martini Giant fans. This is episode number 114, which is Top Gun and Top Secret. Yeah, we decided to pair these two films. Of course, we are talking about Top Gun Maverick from 2022 that just came out and nominated for Oscars, etc., which was directed by our good friend Joe Kosinski and, of course, starring Tom Cruise and also Val Kilmer. And we decided to pair that with the 1984 film Top Secret, which also stars Val Kilmer, but of course it is the goofy comedy from 1984 with Jim Abrams and, of course, the Zucker brothers. It is an interesting pairing. This is not to dismiss Top Gun Maverick, which we absolutely adored, but we also really like Top Secret. Yes, we probably just did this because we like to say Top Gun and Top Secret, but it's still a really good pairing, and it really is a tribute to how much range and amazing talent Mr. Val Kilmer has as well, because I think that's a little bit of an unsung hero in the film industry. So it was cool to see that. Have a few announcements that I want to do. First of all, sorry that this is late. Yes, I've been making these later and later. They're normally supposed to come out on Wednesdays, but this is coming out late on Thursday, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try to get back on track in terms of our release times, but for now, please accept my apologies. However, I do want to make another announcement. As you guys know, we usually do our recordings on Twitch, and we usually do those on Saturday. But this Saturday, Dan has to do a shoot, so we're going to actually do it on Friday. And this Friday, which is going to be March 24th, which is actually just tomorrow, March 24th, we're going to do a watch party, and it's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're doing War Gods of the Deep, which is an old Vincent Price cheesy movie. So I'm very excited about that. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. Hopefully you guys will be able to join us. Again, that is the March 24th, and it is at 3 p.m. and it's War Gods of the Deep. If you want to basically watch this podcast as well, I would love to have you as a subscriber on our YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@martinigiant. Again, that is youtube.com/@martinigiant. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Otherwise, please enjoy episode number 114, Top Gun and Top Secret.
Well, hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Martini Giant. Very excited to be here.
Good. All right, so as we're getting started, I want a special note on this one. Just because we're putting Top Gun and Top Secret on the same podcast does not mean we're making fun of Top Gun, necessarily.
Hell no.
No, we love Top Gun. I just thought that Top Gun and Top Secret was hilarious as a pairing.
They're both Val Kilmer films. It makes sense.
They're both Val Kilmer. They're all about infiltrating enemy space.
Yes. This is a perfect lineup.
This is a good lineup, and I think that Top Gun it's a lot of fun as a movie, and Top Secret is, while ridiculously goofy, secretly genius.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I should also note that Eric has not seen Top Secret, I believe, until now, right?
He hasn't. You hadn't seen either one of these movies, Eric. Is that right?
Yep.
That's
Take
amazing.
My breath away, baby.
This is good.
And Eric, all you had to do is sort of turn your super analytical part of your brain off and turn on the I just want to be entertained part on.
Yes.
Too late.
That's hard for me to do sometimes.
I know, but we forced your hand into those situations.
Well, maybe what we can do, I mean, like this would work for me anyway. It's like maybe sometimes when it's a movie like this, we could switch it around and like two of us review the shitty, goofy movie, and one of us only talks about an Andrei Tarkovsky film.
Okay, right.
And that's it. Just respond as if we're talking about Top Secret and we're actually talking about Stalker.
Right. I had lunch yesterday with some guy who did a documentary on Neutra, and I think he did another one on Tarkovsky as well.
I love me some Tarkovsky, man. That guy, he is a good filmmaker.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that before, but I don't
know. Some people may have said that before. A couple people may think
somewhat
he's good.
Notable. Yes, yeah. It's true. No, actually, I would say that with Stalker in particular, I've watched that movie. I'd leave that movie on to chill me out while I work. It's almost like a ASMR experience, only for angsty Russians.
Right. You know what? I want to try something. I think I might have
What is
ASMR.
That's where people talk into the microphone like this.
What is it short for?
It's supposed to make you feel good.
Stimulation, because I think it's something like a small percentage of people, when they listen with earphones and all this kind of stuff to people making very close noises like this, like they get a chill up their spine, like it activates some chemical response in them, and it brightens their mood and dumps positive chemicals into their brain and endorphins and whatnot. So people are addicted to doing this. It does not work for me, and I think it's sort of funny to listen to. But I don't mean if it does work for you, hey man, if it worked for me, I'd do it too. It just sounds when it doesn't work for you and you listen to it, it sounds just comical. That's all there is to it. But I just look at it as really good sound design, which is nice. This is what oatmeal sounds like when I'm chewing it.
I'm about to do something with Daniel's audio, and I want people in chat to tell me if his audio suddenly sounds better now that he's going to disappear for half a second and come back on.
This is me talking before you press the button?
No, you already did it. So now does he sound any better from what
I sound any better in chat?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
When I say Tarkovsky, does it sound smarter?
Or not?
Or not.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. I figured, so this is another strategy we're going to do. We were discussing like different ways of we pair movies or do to what kind of things we do. So the idea on this one is do a movie that a lot of people, okay, sounds roughly the same. Okay, good. Do a movie that people have probably seen or a popular movie, and then pair it with something that they may not have seen. And we figured Top Secret is the they may not have seen movie on this one.
Yeah, this is a really bizarrely underseen movie. I don't know if it did very
Top
well
Secret?
when it came out. Yeah, and like it's like Val Kilmer made two of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
This one, a Real Genius,
and this one, a Real Genius, and you'd think he would have been like a gigantic star out of this, and he never. They didn't deliver. That? I have no idea. Like he is like even if people don't like those movies, you have to admit the guy is an unbelievable
he really
talent.
Had a presence.
Unbelievable.
His dancing skills, everything.
Killer.
Yeah, he really was a star. And he was a good-looking dude.
Yeah, great looking, incredible delivery, and like you said, the physical needs of this film are insane, and he absolutely goes for it the whole time. It's really, really incredible.
Okay,
but I think he's shooting chocolate mousse.
He's a young guy. I was thinking,
right.
And most at that time would say poo-poo it or like it's beneath me, but it's a big challenge. There's a touch of Bye Bye Birdie with it, but I definitely, there's something about it I really dug. And there's a lot about it I didn't like, but.
Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Let's start with Top Gun, because I think that's something that we can talk about. Also, the other thing is we were sort of looking at movies that are nominated for Oscars. This one is nominated for Best Picture.
That is fantastic to me. That is an absolute, that gives me more faith in the Oscars than I've had in a long time.
Okay.
Because this is not an Oscar bait film in the slightest.
This is not Three Billboards from the Town or
exactly. Yeah. This is the opposite of that.
How come Joe didn't get a Best Director?
I don't know. I'm kind of shocked. It's incredibly good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Here's the thing. I think this movie is unbelievably entertaining, unbelievably well shot, beautifully composed. The timing is great. Everything works.
Editing flawless. Everything. Yep.
The dialogue is cringy.
Of course. It's a Top Gun movie.
Yeah, that's a Top Gun stuff.
That is Top Gun, man.
You just have to accept it.
Like that is like, I would be like this I always come back to this one thing where it's like, if the dialogue were better and like the characters really richly and deeply written, and it spent a lot of time like getting into deep character stuff, that would get in the way of what I want this movie to be. But by having like very thinly written dialogue, it's like you're putting the baby oil on the movie and greasing it up, and then it just zips. Like, they're talking, whatever, that's fine.
I don't know. So part of me when they're all showing their dicks at the bar scene and talking to each other, it was cringy. It was might as well have been a scene from The Office. Like,
it's complete nonsense. Yeah, I think what is interesting, right, is that like I still get very involved, at least with the core characters. I still got very involved with them, and I really actually cared about what was going on with them because of what they were doing physically. Like,
Yes.
like the story that they're telling visually and physically is the thing that I'm emotionally wrapped up in. And then, yeah, they're talking, but who cares, right?
But here's the thing. Here's the other thing I was going to note about that specifically. Tom Cruise has just as much shitty dialogue as they do, but he totally makes it work.
He's good at it.
Because he's good at it. The other guys were
exactly.
not as good. The younger guys are not as good.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point.
Right? Tom Cruise is when he's having his little spoiler tete-a-tete with Val Kilmer, right? And they're talking. It's very cheesy dialogue. It's not like it's very obvious dialogue, but it was beautifully delivered to the point that I was emotional.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's but the young guys are like, yeah.
Well, the young guys are
just act like the guys from Top Gun.
Right.
Just do that.
Exactly. Exactly. No, it's a great point because, like, I mean, they are as good as everybody in the first Top Gun was, which is like, this is cheeseball, and everyone's like towing the line. They're saying the lines and they're doing it enthusiastically, and it's fine, and they're doing their job. But you're not like. It's not like there's a reason why Tom Cruise gets the big paycheck is like he knows how to sell this.
Look at the title. That's what the title says. It says Tom Cruise Top Gun Maverick. That's how it comes out. That's the title of the movie. It's the title of the movie starts with Tom Cruise.
Yes. Like exactly, they just call it Tom Cruise, just put in the Top Gun fun. Yeah, like this is because the thing is, man, it is what I think is really genius about this movie is that it is a very meta movie. Like it is about Tom Cruise and big movies and the end of that. Like it's about the
this
end
is about
of
the
this.
movie.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's like this
Even
is not
on the aircraft carrier. When you see that, you think that.
Yeah. And it's
and
like
they even admit it. Their planes aren't even good enough.
Yep. Like there's nothing. This is all going to be computerized.
This is an anti-AI movie.
This is an anti-AI movie. Exactly. This is like you don't get like, and the thing is like coming out of it is like, you really don't have anyone like this anymore. Like there's lots of actors I like and lots of people that are very good, but there's nothing like this unbelievable show-stopping, get your money's worth adventure that you get out of something like this. It's just insane.
Okay. So here's my other thing. Is this nostalgic then?
No, well, that's a good question. I don't think it is because it's not calling back to when this was good. It is good. It's being good right now. Like, I'm enjoying the adventure not because it's calling back to because I'll say it right out front. Like, I'm not going to bother watching Top Gun again. That's not a very good movie. I'm not a big Top Gun fan. Yeah, it's not a great movie.
The first one?
Yeah, first one's it's okay. It's fine. But like, if I want the Top Gun feeling, I'm going to watch Top Gun Maverick. Like that does it all really, really well, and the air fighting stuff is just out of this world. Like this is why I'm here to watch the movie. And no disrespect to Tony Scott, like I mean, like he directed like Man on Fire and all sorts of movies that I love, but like Top Gun is like it's sort of mid shelf for Tony Scott for me. And like if I'm going to have this feeling, I don't want to feel nostalgic about how B+ that movie was. Like I want to have a real adventure right now. In a place that I, rarely get to have adventures like this anymore. It's like I don't get this feeling watching, Infinity War. Like the Infinity War is pretty good and it's very fun, but compared the joys of Infinity War are editorial and intellectual. Whereas the joys of this is like it's a fucking unbelievable circus ride. It's insane. Yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking, and there's no other movie like that.
This movie also has something else a lot of movies don't have.
Planes.
A beginning, a middle, and an end.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that a nice thing?
There is no
takes my breath away.
Stay tuned, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like this is like there may or may not ever be a Top Gun 3, but they've said everything they need to say with
everything they need to say.
Like this is how to do it. And it's just like it's like a friend of mine was just like, it's just Star Wars, man. It's the same plot as Star Wars. And I was like,
so
this is like complaining that Five Guys serves the same thing as fucking In-N-Out.
Right.
Like I'm going there for the burger. Of course I want a burger. Yeah. Like so what?
Yeah,
But
I mean, it is the same plot as Star Wars.
It's exactly the same plot. Like that's completely like why would I want it to be any different? It's like if Star Wars had Tom Cruise, I would also buy that on Amazon.
Yeah.
But Eric, you have not seen this yet.
Yes.
What
I really liked it. I thought the flying was really good. I'm curious what was real and what was
I think there was a lot more enhanced that they don't want
to own up to.
They don't want to own up to. I'm sure they shot a lot. I know they
shots where I was like, mother, it's so beautiful the way the mist goes over the trees and stuff like that. Or the plane wing. So cool. But I was like, I wonder if that's CG.
Well, a lot of the helmet reflections, where they're sitting on the plane, right?
Yep.
So,
well, this is the thing. It's like like we've talked about it before, but it's like it isn't whether or not it is CG. It's whether you think it's CG. Like it's like
I thought it was a really good movie. I thought that it was very emotional. It was a great film. I never thought I would like it because I didn't like the first one, and it was good. I mean, it was like a really classic, great American film.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
That's what I loved about it, and I just, I don't know. There's something about it too. It feels like it's an end of an era type film too.
I completely.
I think it actually says that itself.
Well, when I went to go see this in the theater, right, there was an intro with Tom Cruise, and he just comes on screen and says, like, "Listen, I know we've had a hard time for the past 2 years, and like this is something that we're like coming together at the theater and really enjoying ourselves together. This is really important, and I want to thank you all for and like this whole like real." Like showman introduction. Like I was like, I got a little emotional with that when I saw it in the theater. I was like, this is true. Like this is very true. And it teed me up to really enjoy the movie. And so when I saw it on the big screen, it was ridiculous. And then so when I watched it at home, I was like, it's not gonna be as good. And like obviously I prefer to see it big. Well, it's just like, like I thought like I was like, seeing it on a small TV, it's probably going to reveal itself to be a pretty good movie, but not great. And when I watched it again, yes, I would prefer to see it on the big screen, but I was just as taken by it. Like I was just like, I'm completely on board this thing. Like it's the editing and the it's like
music was good.
Everything is so physical. Like every action in the movie is something that you feel happening, right? And like one of my favorite bits they do, and they do a couple of times, is when like a jet does that sort of like turns up at a 90-degree angle and it's just sort of like belly riding, and you see all the and like the compressed air like vaporized around it.
Right.
Like it's so like shocking. And like it's just like it doesn't matter if what I'm seeing is CG or actually done or anything. It's the timing and the sound design that when it happens, I feel like I'm in a car that changed gears. You know? And it's that sort of visceral reaction that's built into the movie that it totally delivered even when I was watching it on a small screen. I was really shocked.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
It's a really good film.
Yep.
It's strange to say, but it's an unusual film because there used to be, all the films came out like that, where it just had that, but it's not today.
Well, I think
relatable.
What's funny is that
everybody can sit down on.
It's a 4-quadrant picture. Yeah,
it is a 4-quadrant picture. 2-quadrant. Not so much. Some of the other 2 quadrants may not be as interested in it, but
it's a 2 1/3 quadrant picture.
Yeah, but I think it's also like
Hold on,
we used to make fun of these things in some ways. You saw, it's just a popcorn flick. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then popcorn flicks turned into just,
TV. Like TV.
Yeah. The mini-series called The Avengers,
Yeah, oh my God, dude. I can't take another episode of that show. It's just like, and the thing has been like,
the one with, what's the Ant-Mania one or whatever is like, what
the Quantum Mania. Yeah, like I know
no idea what the hell.
If people tell me that's a great film, I will believe them and I'll see that movie.
Maybe I'll give it a chance, but it just does not look.
Which movie?
The new Ant-Man movie, Quantum Mania.
Quantum Mania.
Yeah. Like it's like.
Has anybody seen Tar?
I haven't seen Tar yet. I'm dying to see Tar. I haven't done it yet.
I haven't seen The Whale either. I want to see The Whale.
Yeah, there's a lot to check off before the award season. But have
you seen The Whale?
I have not. No, there's a bunch I got to catch up on.
You got to go see Avatar, Eric, because we're going to do an Avatar
I'm going
episode
tomorrow.
Oh, dude. That's yeah. Yeah. Avatar's another cinema experience, man. That is just like it plugs your brain into the movie theater 100%. It's really something.
Avatar is superior to Top Gun in my mind in a lot of ways.
It's sort of shocking to say it, but it's like it is a much more innovative in almost every way. It's a much more innovative movie than Top Gun. Like I want to give Top Gun the credit it deserves because like there's something about it knows what it is and it's the best at what it is. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's like there is almost nothing in the world better to me than a perfect cheeseburger. Right. Like it's just like that's what I wanted. Like there's no pretension about it at all. It's exactly what you expect it to be, but it could not be better. And it's extremely satisfying. So like when it comes to Avatar, like Avatar is not as how can I say flawless as Top Gun is, because Top Gun is absolutely clean, but it's
more innovative.
It's much more innovative. And
but you're looking at it as a CG guy.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's like I think that as a piece of entertainment, it's very forward thinking in what it's doing and how it's like how the storytelling works, how it's trying to adapt to the way that audiences watch movies now. And like it's obvious that Cameron thought through this very, very hard and how to make it work.
And it's totally different though, because they're both 100%. Remakes though.
Yeah, 100%. But what is very similar about them is that the first movie in their series for both Top Gun and Avatar is sort of pretty good. And then they get it really right on the second one. And so like when you get to see Avatar, like I think that you'll probably have more to say negatively about Avatar because there's like, structural things.
Of flaws.
Yeah, there's lots of little things that don't quite work, and like it's a little bit wobbly in some ways. But I mean, that's the nature of doing this kind of stuff.
Sure.
But like what it's attempting is really, really wild, and 90% of the time it pulls it off. So like comparing the two, I'm just like Top Gun is like. It's like seeing it, like I can't imagine what it was like to see something like Singing in the Rain the first time when it came out. Like were people like, oh shit, that's a musical? Like we've seen musicals, but we've never seen that like that level, And
what are those movies? If we just think about it, I know 2001.
Mm-hmm.
King Kong was like that in the 30s, right?
Sure. King Kong's a great example. Yeah,
the 30s, right. Absolutely. Metropolis was probably something I'd never seen before.
Right.
Star Wars and Jaws.
Star Wars, yeah. Right.
Jaws.
Yeah. Well, these are, and the thing is like actually, because I would compare.
E.T. was just blew the like.
Oh yeah, I still love E.T. That's a wonderful movie. It's an incredibly good movie. But there's something like, it's not like we haven't seen Top Gun before. It's just that you rarely see it done well, even when America made a lot of these movies. Most of them 99% of them were terrible. And we've never seen it done this well, and so like you can look back throughout the 80s, there's like scads of these movies, and most of them are like meh. I'll still watch like whatever, Iron Eagle and shit like that. Like it's bad fun.
Iron Eagle.
I love Lou Gossett Jr., so I'll watch that. But
what was the Firefox? Was that what?
Firefox, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, with the Queen soundtrack.
Yeah. Like Firefox with Clint Eastwood thinking in Russian to fly.
Thinking in Russian to fly a plane. That's right. The Matrix. You're right, Mike. But the Matrix again. Matrix was weird. Like they thought that was going to be a bomb.
Right. And the thing is, like Matrix and King Kong are more like Avatar 2, where it's like they're really doing something very new, And I think that like it's like when I watch Matrix now, like Matrix has been ripped off so thoroughly that like now I can see like there's parts to this that are chunky and I don't think work that well, but the parts that are new are a part of our culture now. Like the parts that work are so deeply a part of the way we make movies that it almost feels like it's ripping off itself. When you're watching it, just like, holy shit. It's like when they are not in the Matrix in that movie, that is a boring movie to me. Like all the stuff that's in the ship when they're like, talking about eating mush and stuff. I'm just like, oh, it's not very good. Like, I think that Matrix holds up pretty well. I think that.
You love the first one.
The first one is extremely groundbreaking And everything that's inside the Matrix is extremely good. Everything that's outside the Matrix is pretty good. So it's overall like a very good movie, but a very, very groundbreaking movie. And I think that like there's things that have been done that are better than the Matrix, but they wouldn't have been done without the Matrix. And it's too bad that those directors never hit again for me ever. Like they've made like 6 or 7 films or whatever, 6 films now, and I don't like anything they've made.
No,
which is a drag. Because they were so.
Maybe they didn't really make that first.
I don't know. I'm not like. I actually their first
I've
two
heard that
movies.
before.
I think Bound is very good, and I think Matrix is excellent. And then
Bound I like.
After that,
I like Bound.
They just fall apart for me. I know, and like I want to be fair, like I saw the last Matrix movie, and I wasn't like some people were very like really mad about that movie, and I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, this is like Matrix the TV show. That's fun. You know, it sort of just soft landed into being meaningless, and I was like, like if they just made
They did a movie prior to that. Pardon me, I'm just having a little food. I'm about to pass out. But they did a movie prior to that with Tom Hanks.
No, that's after. That's Cloud Atlas.
No, not after the last Matrix, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the first Matrix. Yeah, yes, Cloud Atlas is how I think they're after.
Is that watchable?
I don't like that movie very much. I like what that movie is trying to say and what it's doing. I just don't like the movie.
Not well executed.
Yeah, it's not. It's really clunky, and it has like. It's like this is the thing I have with these kinds of movies where it's just like I agree with what they're saying, and so my demands on it being well executed are higher than they're willing to give.
Yeah.
You know, and so like if you're preaching to the choir, you better really fucking land it. And instead they kind of just go easy and say like they have this very positive all-inclusive statement, and then they're really lazy about making it. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, you gotta fucking make a good movie, guys. Just because you have something powerful to say doesn't mean you get a free pass. And that's been the truth for many of their films. Like they have a lot of stuff that's very important to them to say that I happen to agree with. But as I've said before, I do not need to agree with a movie in order to think the movie is great. Like I would say that like me and Die Hard are politically opposed, but Die Hard is almost objectively a great movie. You know, so like that's like make the great movie first, and then if you also say something very powerful with it, then you have a home run. Die Hard doesn't say anything very powerful, but holy shit, it's a good movie. But Matrix 4 does not do that. And so like when you get something like Top Gun, like it's almost like the end cap of this kind of situation, because like it's more like here's something that's very established that that we know how to do, but no one's done it very well in a long time, and here's sort of a crescendo for it. Whereas like The Matrix and Avatar 2 and things like this are, and Everything Everywhere All at Once are so groundbreaking that it's hard to tell if they're any good.
It's funny.
They're just incredible.
I've known a lot of people who have seen Everything Everywhere, and they're just like, I don't get it. It's too weird.
Oh yeah, no, but people bounce off that movie, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
No, it's terrific.
Oh, I love it too. It's just funny. It's like it's too weird. Give me a cheeseburger.
It is
what is this weird food that I'm eating here?
Yeah. What is this? Noodles? I don't understand.
Noodles.
Am I supposed to eat this with my hands?
Paste? Yeah. What's this fish sauce? I don't understand. Give me a burger. Right. Well, and if we're talking about burgers, let's get back to Top Gun, because it is, as Dave 3D guy said, a very lean and tight script. It is such a simple idea and works perfectly. So it starts off. Yes, we're going to spoil the whole thing for you guys, even though it's
got jets. Sorry,
that's the whole thing. It's got jets, right? We leave off, in the today's date compared to 1988 or 85, whenever Top Gun was done, and Tom Cruise is a solo guy, and he's working for a secret part of the Navy where they're testing hypersonic jets of some craziness, right? Which totally makes sense, right? Like you can tell this is great.
Of course.
It's the most Top Gun thing ever, right?
And that was a CG jet in there.
Well,
the opener, yeah.
Because that was like the Fresnel.
Oh yeah, dude. It's a great scene.
Eric and I have rendered several several jets in the past.
Yes,
and
yes.
I'll tell you, it's strangely hard to light. It's like trying to light a piece of paper sometimes in an airplane.
Right.
It's actually
Right.
really hard to light it correctly to make
Right.
it look sexy.
Right.
Because it, different angles, it's either looks completely flat or it looks like a mirror and you can't see anything, and it's
Right.
just really
Right.
hard. But anyway, this is supposed to look kind of like the Blackbird. If you guys know what the Blackbird is as a plane,
Yeah.
which was a spy plane developed in the 70s and still holds the record today.
The SR-71?
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous bit of equipment. Yeah.
It is
it's
an
very true.
insane. Just look up the history of that plane. There's so many videos about it as being one of the most unbelievable pieces of engineering that still exists today. Anyway, but they were trying to get this plane. They were trying to get to Mach 10, and just to put it in perspective, the SR-71 goes to Mach 3.5, I think, or maybe something like that. And that is still one of the fastest planes. So Mach 10 is kind of like ludicrous, right?
Yeah, it's like light speed. It's like, yeah, okay.
Right. So I don't know what the actual record is for fastest.
Do you remember that satellite bit where Val Kilmer plays the pilot for like Eastern Airlines for New York to Boston?
No.
No.
There was an old skit, and he is the guest star. And it's
This
with,
is an
like,
SNL skit, right?
Yeah, and it's with like Will Ferrell and all the guys. And he comes in like Iceman. But it's Iceman years later. It's the most genius thing because he's totally like, they're like, oh no, not this guy. And so he's totally, and he's like, we're going to go Mach 10. And the guy, Parnell maybe, the guy that played Dr. Spaceman in.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He's funny.
He's like, isn't that a razor?
It's so good. Yeah, like the thing I saw Top Gun maybe half a year ago, the first one, and it was just like the thing that really stuck with me is like Iceman is right the whole time. Like Tom Cruise is a dick. He's a terrible person. He's endangering everybody. And Iceman's just like, listen, I hate to get in your face, but what you're doing is very dangerous and might get someone killed. Someone gets killed. Like, yeah, he might be a little pushy about it, but you probably might have listened to him, Maverick.
Yep.
But it also, he gets a job or he becomes an admiral or
We haven't got to that point yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still at the beginning where he's testing
Yes,
a
okay,
plane.
yeah. SR-71 Blackbird.
I'm at the first 15 seconds of the film. This is what I was listening. I was re-listening to our Tootsie episode, and it took us 45 minutes to progress 5 minutes into the movie.
So we're still actually, this is still a Tootsie episode. We're still talking about Tootsie.
So I know. But anyway, so okay, so he's testing this plane. As he's testing this, like I said, the dialogue is super simple. They're testing the plane is like, oh no, the admiral's going to be here. He's going to shut down the whole operation. Dr. Drone or something like whatever to call him, right? So he's like, we're not going to fly planes anymore. And it's like, well, you said we have to get to Mach 10. It's like, well, we'll get to Mach 10 now. We had 2 weeks. We're going to do it now, right?
Yes.
So they're going to do this whole thing. Anyway, so it's, you get it's like, okay, so he's going to take this plane, he's going to go ridiculously fast, and he's going to put himself in danger, and he's going to get yelled at by the admiral. You already know all of this that's going to happen, right? And it does exactly that, except, of course, to the extreme, right? So he does take it to Mach 10, right? Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to say beautiful, right? And so obviously planes that go that fast, they have to do it at a very high altitude. So he's probably going to be like at 100,000 feet, 150,000.
Yeah, minimum wind resistance, otherwise you catch fire. Like
Right.
that.
So you
it's
need
got
a
to be
very
pretty
thin
thin.
atmosphere,
Right.
atmosphere for that to happen, right? But they do a beautiful job, and they have this great thing where that you can see the heat waves on the glass and
gorgeous.
Nice, yeah.
little bits of flaky metal.
And we really got to give credit to, like, there are very few directors that have a visual sense like
Joe.
Joe Kosinski.
like Joe. Like, it's really, really outstanding. And like he has an image in mind. He's going to deliver it no matter what. Yeah. And it's some of the stuff is really, really shocking. It's like
speaking of Joe, because we've all worked with Joe in the past, and he's really great. But I remember before he was even a big director or had directed anything.
He was an ArcViz guy.
Yeah, well, before he directed anything, he was at that point. At one point, he was repped by He was repped by Anonymous, but he was not doing anything yet. But he was trying to do car commercials, right?
Right.
And I remember very specifically how he was showing us like the best car commercial he's ever saw and the worst car commercial he ever saw, right? And there was the best one he saw was that he illustrated as like, this is the best one, was specifically from the 80s. And it was for Saab, and they had it with a Saab jet, and it was very Top Gun looking, awesome, like high action with this Saab flying down the runway, and then the jet right behind it, and like, and it just was super awesome. So I'm thinking of those images and about Joe getting excited about, and this was 16 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about him just getting super excited about seeing that. And I was like, so when I saw him, is like, and now he gets to do it for real with Top Gun. Like exactly. He gets to do the best, coolest thing.
Yep.
And it's, it's more grounded than Tron, but almost as just fantastical, right?
Well, and his development as a director since like the commercial days through to now is really pretty fantastic. Like, he's like, he knew what his weaknesses were, and he attended to them, and he slowly gets better and better and better until he handles this movie. And I'm just like, not only do your direction of actors gets better, your sense of what works screenwriting wise gets better and better. And then he starts working with Cruise, and Cruise is a real movie producer. Like, he knows movies and why they work. And I think that since then, and they worked so long and so hard in this movie. Like, you went to Tom Cruise school, like you went to Tom, and like
you did. And I remember him telling me those, like, when you did Oblivion, he's like, I'm going to work with Tom Cruise. It's going to be the best because he's going to teach me how to bake movies.
Yeah. How to make movies. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And like, that's like, Tom Cruise was built to make Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
Like, that is what he was put on the earth to do. That's what he does well.
Right.
And between the two of them, like, it's like a match made in heaven. Like, he does exactly the kind of thing that Joe wants to make, and then their best efforts combine perfectly. It's really incredible.
So the admiral that comes by is Ed Harris, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Angry Ed.
Good old Ed.
Who, by the way, we should think of that name in that other thing that we were talking about on the list of names of actors.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yes, he's perfect.
So he's the admiral who comes by.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he's perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So Ed was. So he shows up in a car just as, of course, the plane is on the runway taking off. Right. So he gets out of the he gets out of the car. You can tell he's upset about it. The plane does this incredible. Of course, it's basically doing the flyby the tower from the first Top Gun.
Yeah,
right. But they take it even to a better extreme. It does this thing. It flies over their head, right? And the roof of the security shack goes.
Which apparently actually happened.
Yes,
like that's a real thing that happened, and they happened to capture it.
Yes, so that was definitely, they did it with a real airplane, and then they put this one in instead.
Yes, they swapped it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really, really something.
Yes, so they did a lot of things for real in here, which you can tell.
Yeah.
Right. But if the fact that they did that, they probably haphazardly put that roof on purpose to make that happen.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Right?
Like,
because Ed Harris barely flinches, but the roof almost comes off the building.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's believable that like a shack like that is like right off the back of a semi. They just glue. It's a fucking guard shack. It's not, it's not like it has to be Fort Knox. But I'm sure they were like, well, let's not bolt that down the way it's you could put the Allen wrenches away, guys.
Right.
Allen wrenches away.
So the plane goes of course he gets it up to Mach 10, gorgeous shot. Then he says, let's just go a little further. Like, oh no, don't do it. Right. Of course he does it. Plane shuts down, explodes in the middle of the air. Oh no, is Tom Cruise killed? Is this the end of the movie?
Sure.
We're only 5 minutes.
That was total, by the way. They go into the cafe.
Right.
That was totally lit. Everything was lifted like from Right Stuff.
Right Stuff. That is a straight up call to Right Stuff. The whole scene,
straight up call from Right
like
Stuff.
that's the whole, because it's the
he crash landed. Best to put it, he basically crash landed. Right, you don't see it. You just see the explosion in the sky. Right. Which is also beautifully well done, right? You don't see him parachuting, which is actually a good restraint on that one, right? To go straight. Right. You just see him in his suit, little frazzled, little burnt,
right?
Little soot on his face.
That's right.
And he walks into a cafe in the middle of this little town,
right?
And it's really far from where he left off because he was going so fast.
Yep. As Dave points out, that's the Jaeger scene from Right Stuff. It's
right.
like it's with is that Sam Neill? Not Sam Neill. Rather not Sam Watterson. Sam Shepard. There we are.
Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
And Dave said it's the scene that tells us without a doubt that Maverick is the new Chuck Yeager, which is a really good way of putting it because it's a tribute to it as opposed to a ripoff of it.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's a great scene just all by itself. In fact, what's his name? The nerd writer did an essay just on that scene, comparing the scene to a pop song and how it's structured like a pop song. So I highly recommend that essay. It's very nerd writer on YouTube, Top Gun pop song, and you'll get it. And it's really, really something. And it is like you can see like the structure of how it builds, like leads in like this, gives you a little joy, then pulls it back, and then pumps it up, and then pulls it back, and then pumps it up over the top.
Yep.
And it's a perfectly rendered scene. It's hysterical.
So the next thing is he gets yelled at by Ed Harris, of course. Is he going to get fired or grounded or whatever's going to happen?
All those were like loose. You're a loose cannon. That kind of stuff was just heavy. That's the big brush paint. Was the loose cannon stuff.
Yeah. But it's Ed Harris and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly. It's the meat and potatoes I'm here for.
That's the most umami thing you can get, man. Exactly. That is some beefiness.
Maverick, I can't believe you've been doing this for 25 minutes. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
it's like that's right. So,
what was the So I Married an Axe Murderer? The who plays the police chief?
Yeah, it's hysterical. It's Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin. When he's like,
listen, you spaghetti bandit, is that too much? Was that too much?
Was that too much with the racial slurs?
Okay, yeah, no, it's good. Okay.
I love it.
Alan Arkin, we should.
Is he still alive? Did he die?
I believe he is still alive.
He is still alive.
Yes. I wish we could have him forever. Alan Arkin.
You know what's weird?
You were responsible for the Bay of Pigs? I don't understand this.
No.
Wait a minute. I'm just a dentist from New York. How are you doing the Bay of Pigs? I don't understand this. Shell, you were fantastic. I don't want anything. Well, thank you. Okay. Serpentine. Shell, you were fantastic. Really? Okay.
Oh my God.
I understand you were the first dentist to use the spritzer drill in New York. It's like, well, one of them.
If anyone wants to know what we're referencing here, that is The In-Laws, one of the great unsung comedies of the 80s.
Oh my God.
Alan Arkin and Columbo there. What's his name? Peter Falk. Yeah, unbelievable. We'll do that another time, but it's brilliant.
You were fantastic, Shell.
I tell you, it just flies. It was very sad. As big.
You know what was weird? Is that
I've been getting National Geographic for 20 years.
Alan Arkin's character dies in Little Miss Sunshine, and I think that's why I thought he was dead, because I really believed he died.
Yeah, they killed him for the movie.
He did the Kosinski method, and then he was getting too old. But I loved him in the Kosinski method.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kosinski method was great. Absolutely fantastic.
How old is Alan Arkin right now? I'm gonna look it up.
82, 83, maybe. That's what I'm gonna guess.
All right. Well, we'll keep going on this story. Maybe someone can help us on the chat.
Dave 3Ds with the Ed Harris quote: "You can't get a promotion. You won't retire. Despite your best efforts, you refuse to die."
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's in the trailer. It's a great line. Well delivered.
That's it. That's the raw steak.
It's one of life's greatest mysteries, sir. That's Tom Cruise.
That's true.
His response to it.
It's too good, man. Too good.
So they say he thinks he's going to get grounded. He's ready for it. He's like, but I'm going to save my team. That's the other thing. He's not selfish anymore. He's doing it to save his team, right? Sacrificing himself.
That's right.
Sacrificing himself. But no, looks like you got yourself a guardian angel. You're going back to Top Gun, right? What?
The
Top
movie?
Gun? The movie? Yes, the movie. Right? So yes, he goes to San Diego. Listen, it sounds like we're mocking it, but it's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's great.
Well, and then, like we said, the meta aspect of this, where he's basically saying you're going back to Top Gun the movie, and Tom Cruise is like, "But sir, I'm already filming 2 back-to-back Mission Impossible films. How's this going to work?"
And I've just turned 60.
I just turned 60.
Did he really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
He turned 60.
Like, can you imagine me in a jet plane? Like, come on.
Oh, that's interesting you say that, because I saw a thing on YouTube the other day where it was, and I'll share it with everybody. I'll get it and share it. I forget his name. I think he was an actor. He passed away. He was in A Simple Plan.
Bill. Yeah, he's
Paxton.
great. Bill Paxton. Yeah.
Bill
I
Paxton.
think it was Bill Paxton.
He did die. Yeah.
Yes, he died. That was like 54.
And he was doing this thing where maybe it's Bill Paxton, but I'll find it. He goes up into a spy plane at 70,000 feet.
Mm.
Oh, I seen this movie.
It's a YouTube movie, and it's 25 minutes.
Okay.
It's
No, maybe
so
I
know, I
didn't
guess
see
good.
it. I
Oh,
didn't
man.
see
Okay.
it.
I'll send
But
you
I
guys
did
the
like him in Edge of Tomorrow. Bill Paxton.
Hysterical.
With Tom Cruise.
With Tom Cruise.
You would never get me in that fucking plane. I mean, it was 70,000 feet.
Oh,
they
it's
go up
insane.
to.
Yeah, that's insanity. It's insanity.
Well, Eric, you don't want to go into anything that's like you get terrified in airplanes.
Yeah. No, that's a whole.
I know
different- Yeah. That's a whole different.
That's
thing.
interesting because did I tell you the life insurance story?
Yes.
What is the life insurance story?
Go ahead. Tell us the life insurance.
No,
You've told me, but
Tell
there's
them.
an audience.
It's
There's
a
an
whole
audience. The whole audience.
We had to redo our life insurance. So a life insurance person spoke with me on the phone like a week and a half ago. And they were like, we just have to ask you questions. So it was a half hour asking questions. And then they get to the part like, do you fly besides, it was something wording was like, not commercially, but do you fly in planes or scuba dive or, the parachute? And I was like, hey, let me just tell you one thing. First of all, my favorite food is airplane food because I always think it's my last meal. And it's not a joke. I'm like, oh my God, these nuts are so savory because I feel like I'm going to die. So there's no way you would get me in an airplane, scuba dive. No. I've never flown in a helicopter. I've never swum.
How are we going to put you in Domino Principle 2 if you won't do these things?
So all those just check no, okay? Because I don't do that kind of crap.
Good God, man. Yeah. No, like I used to be very terrified of flying. I managed to get over it. And then just a few years ago, we flew through a lightning storm, and I absolutely disassociated. It was like lightning striking the plane, crazy, John Lithgow 1982 kind of shit.
I had that over Malta. And these 2 fat Maltese guys were looking at me. They called me Pufta because I was like grabbing the edge, like, oh, we're gonna die. We were struck by lightning and we were like spinning.
Oh, yeah.
I was like terrified, and they're like, Pufta. I was like, you know what?
You see a little dude outside the window going,
I'm going to throw you a fire extinguisher on your head.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, no. So like now I'm not afraid at all, just because like that nerve that runs through my body is completely fried.
All right,
I
listen.
have nothing left.
We still have to get through another movie after this.
Oh,
and we
it's a
barely
2-movie
got
day.
started. We can't do this. All right. So,
No, wait, I have one more story to tell.
Okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, so he's flying Mach 10.
So he's flying Mach 10. He gets kicked to because really we could go through this whole plot in 10 minutes if we wanted to, but we don't seem to be able to do that. But he gets to San Diego. He goes to San Diego to Top Gun, right? San Diego looks very much like San Diego. It is San Diego. Clearly, it is not Vancouver. As far as I can tell.
Yes, right.
It looks very much like San Diego, which is kind of nice. By the way, this was another story about this was filmed like 2 years before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been a while.
The license plate said 2020.
Yeah. No, it's been a while. This is like a 5-year production or something like that.
Right. And they held off for 2 summers before they put this in theaters. It was supposed to come out in 2020. And it was filmed in 2017 or 2018 is when they were filming this. Yeah.
That's absolutely insane.
right?
Well,
so they didn't put it out till 2022. There's 5 years after they filmed this. Now, Avatar was way longer than that. I know that's whole problem.
Yeah, but that's a special case. This is a normal Hollywood movie production.
And it was very smart. It was one of the smartest ways and timing into like now is the right time to pull the trigger and having the guts to hold off as opposed to let's just put it on HBO.
Without a doubt. Well, this is something
and I bet you Tom had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, I mean, like as you can see, it's like when like his control over the product is enormous, and his sort of respect for the process is enormous. And I think that like because the video games are going through this a little bit too, because like there's a game people might know called Cyberpunk that came out, and it was so completely unfinished. And people are paying $60 and $70 for this thing, and it was just trash when it came out. Absolute broken, unplayable trash. Right. And like they got the company sued out the wazoo and all of a sudden, and it's taken them years to recover from this and rebuild the game and put it out the way that it should have been. And out of that, games are now taking the stance of like, we're just going to take forever to make these things, like, because it's a disaster to release them.
Destroy your company.
It'll destroy the company. And it's just like, that's the problem with the HBO model. It's like when you just sort of like half finish something and then dump it. Like,
what do you mean, HBO model?
No, it's like talking about. There's a lot of movies that during the pandemic they just said we're just going to put it on HBO.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, there's only one or two really made it through that process. Dune did. Yeah, Dune did well.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. So he gets there and he's going to train these guys. He goes to the bar. Right. Of course, there's a bar just like in the first Top Gun. Listen, it's just the same thing. Right. Jennifer Connelly is the bartender.
Yes.
She was not in the first Top Gun.
She's not in the first one, right? And it's Kelly McGillis in the first one.
So I don't know who her character is supposed to be here and what her association is.
Right. So there's some
in the first film she was a barback. Now
she's been promoted. Now she's a general.
So that's the cool thing. And there you see that story arc, and that's great.
Yeah, like in the first film, the love interest.
Penny was mentioned in the first film.
Was she? Oh, neat. That's cool.
Okay.
Well, so yeah, like a little continuity.
Dave 3D guys. Okay, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. The fact that I
she's
didn't
still
know,
she's
the fact that
she's still in an age appropriate zone. It's like like people were like, how come you didn't get Kelly McGillis? And it's just like Kelly McGillis is also Tom Cruise's age, but Tom Cruise is a superhuman creature.
Yes, that doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Like they're like, for instance, if you're like
if a 60-year-old woman would not look good on screen.
They just can't they can't sell that movie. That's just like people are like 20-year-olds are not gonna. It is the nature of the business. It's a very expensive film. You have to sell it to 20-year-olds. 20-year-olds aren't gonna do that.
And here's the other thing also, right? Because one of the pilots that he's gonna train in Top Gun is supposed to be the son of Goose, right?
Right.
And the son of Goose is like a little kid in the first movie who he puts on the piano, right?
Right.
That kid, so basically that kid is supposed to be about 10 years old, right?
Right.
Which means he was born in 1975.
Right. Which means he's like a little younger than me.
Yeah. He's almost 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Which he's not, clearly.
She is not. Exactly.
Are you 50?
I'm going to be 52 shortly.
Me too.
Yep.
Well, so Dan and I have birthdays about 2 days apart.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like I think that people are right to, and like it's always an issue of like, age appropriate relationships and all this kind of stuff. I think that Jennifer Connelly is still an age appropriate relationship for Tom.
Your age plus 10 is the rule.
I think like Jennifer Connelly is like Tom Cruise in that she is mystically beautiful, even though she is much older. And so like you have to have these special look. I mean, whatever their age is, they have to be very sellable product. That's the way Hollywood looks at it. Tom Cruise is still visibly sellable as an adventuring man, so they put him in movies. He's willing to jump out of things, and he looks really good doing it. That's why he's the star, as opposed to say Paul Giamatti. Like Paul Giamatti is not going to be leading a Mission Impossible film because you wouldn't take it seriously, and that's the way that we watch movies. So like that, it's Kelly McGillis is an excellent actor, and she's doing whatever she's doing right now, but she's not the one you're going to cast in the fucking jet fighting movie. Like you need the 20-somethings to watch this.
So in the bar shows up all of the pilots, right? That are going to be the Top Gun pilots. And this is the most awkward scene to me, by far, in this film. They're all like, "What's your call sign?"
Oh yeah, it's the big ridiculous macho scene at the bar.
Macho scene, right? And so the bad guy, the quote unquote bad guy, who like Beth said, like, you need to look and act just like Iceman.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
he does a pretty good job. He
does a pretty good job.
He's okay.
Yeah,
That's
right?
good.
So that's the thing right there, right? And I'm like, okay, so you're the Iceman guy. It's like, okay, and you are the son of Goose. So in order for people to see that, we're gonna have to make sure you have a mustache.
Right, exactly. That's it. The shitty mustache.
Shitty
That's
mustache.
You genetically have the same shitty mustache.
Right.
That's how.
And if people still don't get it, you need to have a Hawaiian shirt. And you just need to play Great Balls of Fire on the piano.
Which no one his age would know, but that's fine.
Right.
Right.
And all the music is very dated for people of that age.
Yeah.
It's very dated.
I was thinking about the musical beats. I honestly, they remixed the Baba O'Reilly by The Who, and they did a really great job mixing that. You know, they kind of merged choruses and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I was like, that's just a target audience thing. Right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Without, I mean, like if you were actually if you're really to make a movie with 20 somethings in it, they'd be all online listening to chiptune music and and playing video games and talking about really heady intellectual stuff.
It worked, and you realize
that's
how beautiful Pete Townshend's tone was. I was like, God, it's just timeless, man. And it's backed by like an acoustic guitar,
right? Like
a J200. It's really it holds up. But I did think they're just doing it for
Yeah, well, like the thing is, what is it?
Gaga did the music.
Yeah, it's true. But like, what's sort of interesting with how this works is that, this is not a good cross section of what it's like to be a younger generation person. Like this is a sort of a language by which we talk about the energy of young people in an adventure movie, when most young people of their age, that is, like, aren't going to bars and talking macho bullshit. Like, that's just not the vibe right now, right? But it is the vibe of a Top Gun movie, and so we have to find a way to make that work in an advertising way. Now, like, I don't think that I would be interested to know if people who are actually in the military look at that scene and think that that's realistic representation of how they act, or whether this is a weird, cosplaying thing about acting like people in Top Gun from 1984.
Yeah. They do have one woman in it.
Yes. Right.
One woman, one black guy.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like it's all according to the studio plan, and everybody's fine. Everyone's good.
Everyone's fine. Everyone's fine. All right. So there's a very jovial scene in it where he has to buy drinks for people, and the whole thing happened. Right. It doesn't really matter, right? But basically, all the young guys see that this old timer, quote unquote old timer, right? Even though he looks like he's 35. At the bar, and they're all kind of making, well, man, okay, throw him out of the bar and everything else, right? But then, of course, they realize the next day when they go to Top Gun class, which is in a huge hangar with a flag the size of a football field behind them.
Yeah, right.
This American flag is so huge,
which is like straight out of like George C. Scott and Patton.
Yeah. But I think they had that in the first one. Dave 3D seems to have the best memory of this, but they had this giant flag, right? And so basically they realize, oh shit, that's the guy we threw out of the bar. He's our teacher. Oh, we're in trouble, like that kind of, right? Now, of course, they do the thing where they basically say, here's your mission that you have to do. And it's like, this is the manual for the F-18, which is the plane we're going to be flying. You have to throw that away because your enemy knows it too.
That's right. Like, again, if this were a realistic scene, it'd be like, okay, so open up the PDF I give you on your phones and delete it.
but that's like, what's amazing is that's what Chris was like when we first put together Martini Giant. He's like, this is your manual for podcasting. And he threw it right out.
Like, throw it out.
Dan looks at me and he's like, you already know it, and our other podcaster enemies know it too.
That's right.
It was strange. And I was like, wait a minute. This is a Christmas.
We're going to be doing 2 films back to back, slightly related by Val Kilmer.
And sometimes we won't watch it, but we'll still give a review.
So we have opinions whether we even seen the film.
I'll have you do that, Eric. Don't watch the movies, but talk about it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's where we're at. It's kind of a Top Gun here. This is podcasting school.
Okay. So the plot is, here's the general premise of the thing. They've got 3 weeks to knock out a nuclear refinement site. It's in a remote area in some place that no one knows. You don't really know who the enemy is. You don't know anything about anything what's going on, right?
They say Iran. You're wrong.
No, they don't say Iran.
No. They do not say
nothing.
anyone.
They do not say anyone.
They say it is where they gave them tickets, where they're going to take a flight. And
like I see it briefly. Exactly.
Nope. It could be
it could be your on-flight meal.
Sarania.
Yes, it's Saranistan.
Russia.
Yes.
Sarana, Russia?
Yeah.
Saranistan, Yasha?
Yep. So that's about right. That's about right. It's a tribute to the movie, and it kind of works in the first one. It really works in this one, where there is no bad guy to this movie. There's only
the bad guy is time.
The bad guy is time. Exactly.
Yes.
And
they
specifically call this out. Like,
yes.
The bad guy is time, and that is Tom Cruise talking about being 60.
Yeah.
Like, that is the movie. That is the movie.
Yeah.
You only have so much time to do this stuff.
Right.
And you got to do it.
So what they're doing is they show the landscape. You got to go down this canyon to stay below enemy radar. This is and if you go up, the SAMs are going to get you, right? That's one thing. The next thing is we're using F-18s because that's the only thing that can be stealthy enough to get in there because you can't use normal stealth because of some GPS thing. So they gotta go old school, right? With F-18s.
They had to fly backwards. I don't want to spoil alert. They have to fly the planes backwards up the mountain.
Right.
Anyway, keep going.
Right. Yes, exactly. But you have to keep it low, but otherwise Darth Vader will see you, and he'll fly in, and then we have to get Han Solo to come blow you up.
Right. So they've got to go through this. They got to go do the steep incline, get into this crater. They've got to do it twice. Literally,
By the way, the
Star Wars
great
thing.
on that sequence.
It's
to the viewer.
Dude, this is like this thing. Okay, before we get into the meat of this thing, I just want to say, structurally, this is as well done as any sort of like plan the mission, execute the mission thing I've ever seen, because they retell the story like 5 times. They're like, this is what you have to do. You have to do this. And then they keep on every time they repeat it, they symbolically attach it to another set of stakes emotionally for the characters until you finally arrive at the actual thing. And it's about Goose's son and Maverick. And I'm just like, this is gold. This is it. Like, this is like, what's the Dirty Dozen? It's just like, we're going to explain it as we do it. Yeah.
Aaron Brockovich.
That's a fine film. That's an excellent film. It's beautifully done.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you literally got to use 2 shots, one to blow up the air conditioning vent or something like that.
Half the guy.
And then the second one to go down and blow up the nukes, right?
Yes.
Right. And they have to do it, and they have to have the laser targeting system. Otherwise, you got to go in blind or use the Force or something, you know?
That's right. Exactly. That's what I would love to see is like Tom Cruise takes off his helmet. Like,
use
no,
the
I
Force.
do it blind. Exactly. Yeah, right? I would have believed it. At that point, I would have believed it.
Right. So they simulate this thing. They have an area where they simulate this over and over and over again. Oh, first of all, they go there through their whole swing their dicks around when they're doing their dogfight practice amongst themselves, and they have to do 200 push-ups every time they get knocked down. All that stuff. And that's where they really get pissed off at each other. Lots of tension between people, yelling, and then what's the deal with Goose? It's not Goose. What's the guy's name? Who was the Goose's son? His call sign is...
What is... Hang on, I'm just going to look up the old IMDb. This will take 18 minutes.
Okay. Anyway, so they get into this big match about all that.
Right.
Rooster, thank you. Yes,
Rooster,
Goose and Rooster, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
I would have called him
Thank
Goose.
You, Dave 3D.
Rooster.
I was going to call him Cocky, but that's okay.
Rooster, Hondo, Warlock, and Bob.
Bob,
Yes.
right.
Yep.
Bob
That's
was
the guy.
that was the joke one. Yay, we're gonna get Bob.
And we also have to give credit to unlike the original Top Gun, they actually explain and integrate what the second guy does. Like that's
right.
part of the movie. This as opposed to like there are two guys in the air. One of them's Tom Cruise.
Right.
So yeah, they actually make it part of the plot and part of the tension. It's really,
Right.
really good.
So then what they so they go through it over and over and over again. Oh, and then now the new quote unquote enemy is John Hamm.
Yes. Going full ham in this thing.
Yeah,
by the
he
way.
is hamming it up.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah.
He's like, you want the
Sometimes, though,
ham?
if
You
close
got
your
the
eyes,
ham.
It feels like a Chrysler commercial with his voice.
God, I love it so
He
much.
does. It's like
So
He's
good.
got that kind of 50s.
Did you see
He's amazing.
Did you see John Hamm on Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No.
Oh God, it's funny because the episode is Albert Brooks wants to do a wake for himself while he's still alive, so he can see the nice things that people are saying about him.
right.
And
That's
John
beautiful.
Hamm wants to like participate, but he wants to be more Jewish, so he's like asking all these questions about how to be Jewish.
That's awesome.
And John Hamm trying to be Jewish is very,
That's
very
too
funny.
good. This sounds like this sounds like Albert Brooks came up with it. Like that sounds like raw Albert Brooksism right there. It's perfect. And anyone who's listening who does not know who Albert Brooks is, you have an entire beautiful comedy world to
Oh
experience.
my God, the best.
Unbelievable. But yeah, actually, and the one I would like to, has anyone seen the new Fletch with John Hamm? Like, initially I heard it was
I have
bad,
not.
but now I've heard many people say it's actually quite good and very easy fun. So I'm in it. I'm in it for the ham.
Easy fun.
Easy fun. I like easy fun. Easy fun.
Kind
for
of
the
like
man.
this movie, which
That's
we're going to
easy
keep
fun.
going on. Okay,
It is.
I'm going to keep the train on the track here.
Easy fun.
So at this point, you've established all of these things. John Hamm is basically yelling at them, says it's going to fail, not going to work, and there's like no way they can do it, right? And then they're being too risky by doing what Tom Cruise is telling them to do, which is to fly super, super low and super, super fast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And John Hamm is like, no, that's too dangerous. Fly at this height. And it's like, but then the SAMs will see us. It's like, well, you have a better chance of surviving than hitting a wall or whatever it is, right? And so they're having this whole thing. And there's a situation with Tom Cruise where he gets in trouble. Of course, he's about to get fired, and he doesn't know if he can do it.
That's the
Right?
Right.
And that's a bad situation, right? But he does have a talk with. And he's debating over Rooster, right? Rooster being Goose's son, he doesn't want him to be on the project because he feels bad about Goose dying, and he doesn't want Rooster to be to be at risk. And in fact, he jeopardized his career.
Right.
By pulling.
This is a really great little. I love this little story because it sort of it grows up this plot line a little bit because
Right.
first of all, the relationship with Jennifer Connelly is a much more grown up version than you would expect for this kind of movie.
It's good.
It's
believable.
it's actually very believable. It's very, very earnest. And
Yep.
as someone of at least in the ballpark age of that couple, I was like, this feels very realistic. Like the way they're treating each other is realistic. And the way they where she talks with her daughter and how they handle the relationship all feels good. But Tom Cruise admits, like, instead of having a big sex scene, right, between the two of them, like they say, okay, so they had sex. That's the sex scene. They show nothing. But the sex scene, in quotes, is them talking earnestly about Tom Cruise moving forward in his life and where she is at. And I'm just like, yeah, that's the sexy part. Hey, adults talking about real things that matter.
Right.
And
as opposed to what they did in Tom Top Gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Them humping.
Which is just humping.
silhouetting.
Exactly. I'm all for humping. That's fine. But like, it's in the Tom Cruise is 60 years old. That's no longer as entertaining as it might have been when he was 24.
But he doesn't. He looks like he's 35.
I know he's from the moon. I don't understand, but like, still, the like this scene reveals that he's doing this because Meg Ryan's character, before she passed away from cancer, said, please do whatever you can to keep him from flying because I can't lose them both. Right. And so Tom Cruise agreed to do this and to pull his papers and sort of set his career back, research career back by 4 years. Right. And what's really, this is the best part of it, is like Jennifer Connelly kind of calls Tom Cruise on the protective, heroic bullshit that he's doing in that story.
Right.
Like, and like, it's like you are trying to protect something about yourself, like right. by doing this. Like like it's, you love the kid and you want him to be safe, but there's something else that's going on here that you need to solve within yourself. Yeah. And I'm just like, that is a really deft, smart and bizarrely grown up scene to have in this movie. And it's the kind of weight that the movie needs to have the impact that it does. And I'm like, like they don't have a lot of like sit down meaningful talks or anything like this, but they had it in the right place at the right time, that the rest of the movie carries that meaning with it. And it gets very emotional. Like, it was a very successfully emotional experience in a totally silly action adventure jet movie. And that's where it happens. It's right there.
What it was?
No.
Action adventure jet.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They do,
Which
instead of doing the volleyball.
Yes, it's huge. It's it's the second biggest hit this year after Avatar 2.
And it did great. So instead of doing the volleyball scene,
mm-hmm.
they do a football scene.
Right.
Okay. And it's a good scene. It's fine.
Yeah,
but I gotta tell you this. All I was doing was looking for Corbina in every shot. Because that was like the perfect beach. It's San Diego Beach, right? And just for people, I've talked about Corbina. I'm gonna this promise this will be my only. Hopefully, will be my only fishing thing. If you look at that scene, it's like the perfect example of where you'd find Corbina. That last little lip of water that barely looks like anything, you can find huge fish that are in that amount of water that you would be surprised you can catch, and it's absolutely exciting. Right. So watching that was just kind of...
I think this is an entirely new thing that Martini Giant can offer, is you should record fishing podcasts over movies that take place near water.
Right.
So just at the very beginning saying, okay, so we're starting this at 10 seconds in, give them a time code, and then just do a record.
We'll do the great outdoors, and I'll talk about bass fishing the whole time.
Yeah, I love this. This is perfect. Let us know in chat if that's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Anyway, so yes, they do have, let's see. And then, of course, John Hamm is like, where are you guys? Where are you guys? And it's like, oh, you told to build a team. I'm building a team. That, by the way, there's a shot of John Hamm coming out of the hangar where he's looking for people, right? And you see all the planes are in perfect unison, and he walks in the middle of it, right? And this is a Joe Kosinski thing. Joe Kosinski is very good at one-point perspective. Really good at
the Kubrickian,
but he's got a special way that he shoots it that he absolutely is kind of cool. And he's partnered with again, Claudio, who's the DP on this, right? Claudio Miranda is the DP on this, who is also the DP on Tron and Oblivion.
It's great.
And was he the DP on Oblivion? I think he was.
I think he was. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
He was also DP on Life of Pi, where he got a bit of a talking to about that.
That's right. Because it was green screen and it was right. Exactly. He's a great photographer, though, we have to say.
He is a very good photographer. He knows his cameras, he knows his lighting, and he's actually 100%. Works very well with visual effect companies. He communicates very well, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that was really kind of awesome. So basically what happens is, of course, they tried to fire Tom Cruise. They said, oh, right, sorry, big thing. Can't leave this out. He's having this conflict, doesn't know what to do. He gets a text message from Iceman. Iceman has been well-decorated admiral at this point, right? And has been protecting Maverick the whole time. They're good friends, which is great. That's a kind of a nice thing to considering where the last movie left off.
Yep.
And it's been protecting Maverick from being, the rebel, right?
Right.
But he's been, so he says, I got to see you right away. And this was kind of a cool thing because a lot of people are like, Val Kilmer has not been on screen for a long time. Val Kilmer, as a lot of people know, has suffered throat cancer, right? Yeah. So he can't really talk that much.
Right.
So he can't.
There's a wonderful documentary on Amazon Prime about Val Kilmer. That's narrated by his son, and it's very, very moving. And like how his his whole career and history. And I would say that like the power of using Kilmer in this way is
very good.
It's brilliant. It's really brilliant.
It was but it was the smartest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said he's dying, right?
Yeah.
He's and so he can barely talk, which is true. Or he's not dying anymore. Yeah. He just can't talk. But it was kind of this amazing thing. And they have this little exchange about, Val Kilmer is typing on a computer to communicate things. So it's big words on the computer. And that's how they're having their conversation. And it's kind of it's a really amazing scene. It's great. It's very simple. Like I mentioned earlier, it's very simple, but it's just really well done about, how he needs to get over himself, help the kid, do the right thing.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's really, really, really well.
Well, and there's the great moment in this thing. I mean, it's like, not only are they like, it's very mature. They're talking really about their own careers, right?
Yes.
And like, so there's a few different levels. One, it's essentially like the studio talking to Tom Cruise, and saying like, Tom, you're getting pretty old. And it's time to pass the fucking torch. So there's that. There's the history between Cruise and Kilmer themselves and their own personal history. And then there's the specifics of what the scene is as characters. But when it comes down to Kilmer saying, you have to let go, and it hangs on Cruise for a second, and he just says, I don't know how. Like, I was like crying. I was like, look, this is Tom.
It's true. I don't think he knows how not to be an action hero.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really, it really got me. I was just like, and of course now, like my, I don't know Tom Cruise at all, but like my history with Tom Cruise movies means that Tom Cruise is a part of my brain. Right. And for this scene to happen where it's just like, well, you got to realize you're getting older. Like, this is twanging all these emotional, nerve endings in my actual experience. And you can't be the age of Tom Cruise and not feel like, oh, fuck. Like it is, we're entering the back nine now. So we really gotta pull this off. And it's very, very effective. It's very, very effective.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite powerful.
Yep.
So, let's see. So basically that scene happens. Then Iceman dies.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Goes to the funeral. No one's here to protect you anymore. Maverick.
That's right.
And so they have the time, of course, we only have 1 week to do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do it. And Maverick's out, so we're going to do it my way, says John Hamm, right?
Right.
And just as that's happening,
he lays down the ham.
He lays down the ham, and they're like, "But you're risking all of us, right?" And so then finally, Tom Cruise gets in the plane and does it himself while this is going on.
Oh yes,
breaks the record. Breaks the record of this fastest run. Nails it, and proves to Hamm that it can be done. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they're like,
without losing his job.
Yep.
It was a little kind of.
Oh, it's impossible, but it's amazing.
Yes. And so instead of actually losing his job, he's like, "Great, now you're a team leader." Wait, what?
Yeah, like holy shit. I mean, that's what's within the context of this nonsense. Like that's what makes it believable. Is they're like the only way this has a is the way that John Hamm's whole point of view is like, and they said a few times. It's just like the only thing we need to blow this facility up. And I'm going to get these kids killed. I'm not really concerned about them living because I don't have any need for jet pilots anymore after this.
Yeah,
Right.
it's all automated.
It's all automated. So like Tom Cruise keeps on saying like, and get them home, right, sir? And he's like, yeah, get them home, right? And so when Cruise pulls off the stunt of doing it, like doing the run on time, like John Hamm's reaction is, he's the only one who I can trust to actually do this thing. Like, as much as I would like to fire him, like, I need this fucking thing blown up, and these kids aren't good enough to do it. So yeah, I have to make him the head.
Right.
You know, and so like it within the cartoon nature of the world, like it makes a lot of sense. Like, if we did in real life, he would be canned.
By the way, Dave 3D guy put in our thing. He says, "Great meme of Tom Cruise not aging." So for those of you who,
oh my god, that's terrifying.
Who are watching, who are listening to this, it's a meme, and it's basically Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire with the little kid, right? And then below it is
the little kid's an old man.
Tom Cruise with the same kid, but now he's an old man, and Tom Cruise looks exactly the same. And the other guy has white hair. Tom Cruise looks exactly the same.
Wow, that is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Click on the link on our thing.
That's
actually, let me
hysterical.
see if I can. Yeah,
that's hysterical. Yeah. Man, oh man, whoever he's paying to do what to him, it proves that there are aliens from the future that are manipulating his gene code.
Yeah.
That is all there is. That is hysterically funny.
Just for shits and giggles. Let me see if I can put this in here. Oops.
Oh, incidentally, yes, Claudio did shoot Oblivion, and speaking
There's
of the Matrix,
meme. I just put it on our thing.
Okay,
like there it is, right on our stream.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's so key. That's hysterical. There it is. That's our new background.
All right.
Beautiful.
Okay, so they go. So now we go into Act 3, which is now they're on the aircraft carrier and they have to do the run for reals this time, right? And it's all scary and everything else. And of course, who's left? They have to put 4 planes and they have to have these backup plans. And of course, the guy who's the quote unquote Iceman character is in the backup, and he's very upset about it, right?
Right.
And so because Tom Cruise,
you wear the Han Solo jacket.
Yeah,
on.
put on the Han Solo jacket, right? And so like, let's clear this thing and go home, right? All right, and so of course, now Rooster is with Tom and hits his wingman, and so they're going at it together, right? They go down, but now you've been seeing it in the quote unquote simulated space somewhere in the Nevada desert, but now they're actually doing it, and it's in this, clearly a CG background, which is very well done, right?
Yeah, it's all excellent. The effects are tip top in this thing.
And so the first thing is they send a bunch of Tomahawk missiles to blow up an airfield nearby, at which point that will knock out the airfield, but that means that any planes that's still in the air are the ones that are going to be going after them, right? But they only need to time this whole thing so it all works out really well. But anyway, they go down the canyon, Tom, just like in Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Low enough so that the turrets, just like in Star Wars, don't shoot them, right?
That's right.
Right?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some of the surface, some of the towers.
Right. And so then they get to they get through the whole they get through all of that. And basically what happens is one of them gets through, blows up the air conditioning vent, and then Tom Cruise does hit the thing, right? But as they come out, the SAMs get him, and it's a mess, right? So they're all over the place. Tom Cruise saves him, right? But then gets shot down, right? So Tom escapes with his parachute. He's in a snowy area like that, right? And then a helicopter is coming to shoot Tom Cruise, but the helicopter is blown up by Rooster, who came back to help him,
Right.
Which Tom Cruise is upset about because that means now he's vulnerable.
He's endangered.
He's in
trying to
danger.
avoid. Yeah, exactly.
Rooster, don't do this. I promised your mother, right? So that kind of thing. And then Tom, I'm trying to go through this as quickly as possible. But then his plane gets shot down, and the two of them are without planes, wandering the snowy thing, trying to escape enemies, right? At which point they show up in front of the airfield that they blew up, and they realize there are F-14s there, which are the planes they used in the original Top Gun.
Of course.
Right? Which is a relic of an airplane.
I think they should have called them Top Guns. Look, it's a Top Gun.
Right? Volleyball next to it.
Exactly. That's so good,
that's where it started to get like, huh? Like,
it's like I have to agree that like it's like in order to make the ending work, which is terrific, like they have to do a little bit of start hustling right here. It's like, okay, they're the ones they've got the planet there. Okay, anyway, and then they have the planet there. Right. You need to get these two in a plane together for the emotional structure to work.
Listen, it's fine.
Like that's what has to happen. Like, listen, it's a little hand wavy in this section. That's fine.
What?
Yeah, it's okay. Third act.
Listen, at this point, you're eating the fries, man. You're like, oh.
Yeah, a minute.
You know what I need? You know what I need now? Is that chocolate shake. Oh, that's going to wash it down. This is the chocolate shake portion.
This is the chocolate shake part. I mean, like, can you imagine, like, that movie, if that movie didn't have Rooster and Maverick in the same fucking plane at the end, then it's a B+. That's fucked. Like, you have to get them into the same plane. That is what the movie is about. Yeah. Because it's got to be him and the ghost of Goost. Goost.
Ghost of Goost.
Ghost of Goost. And other short stories.
Yeah, that's by O. Henry, I think. Goost.
Goost. You got goosed.
That's it. Oh my God. Yeah, but yeah, this is what has to happen. So like they actually handle this section as deftly as they can. I mean, it's nonsense, but they're just like run in the woods, get in the plane, and they fly the Top Gun off the fucking tarmac, and then it's in the air.
Yeah. Okay. So what they have is they get the plane out of there, right? They fly it off, but because it's an F-14, the enemies who are flying quote unquote 5th generation planes, right?
Right.
They don't know if they're the good guys or bad guys, right?
Right.
And then
they look like Darth Vader, though.
They do look like Darth Vader. They've got the dark masks on. Yeah,
it's kind of completely marking free. Like they're just made of villainy. That's it. Like, it's a plane made of evil.
Right. Which is funny because like they're much more advanced technology, but yet we're the Americans.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like exactly. Like I'm sure that Afghanistan has this new
or
space
North Korea has,
exactly.
North Korea has 5th generation F-35s. Okay,
right.
With VTOL and everything else. Okay, so yes, there's that situation. They manage they get one of the planes. The other one's chasing them down. It's about to shoot them down. And who shows up but Han Solo, right?
Yep, exactly.
Meaning the other guy.
Great shot, kid. Yeah.
Great shot. That was one in a million.
Great. It was very suspenseful, though. It was
great.
It's
terrific.
Found it really great.
Yeah,
really
this is A+.
The cutting was really good.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my God!
It sounds like we're making fun of it, but we're loving this.
Yeah, this is pure love.
We are not making fun. We're not saying
this
it's cheesy, but it's awesome.
This is an absolute 5-star movie in my opinion. Like this is great. Like, this is one of the great action films that has ever been made, and it's one of the greatest movies, easily one of the greatest movies of the year. And this will be remembered for 100 years. How much fun this movie is! Absolutely terrific,
well executed, and it's a clear example of this. And I think all the metaphors you're saying that about this is a metaphor for the film industry itself and Tom Cruise and what that all implies is 100% true.
Yeah, it's all there.
So basically, they blow up the plane. They arrive. Hug, done. Yep. Is that the end of the movie? That's the end of the movie, right?
That's more or less the end of the movie. I mean,
I don't think there's anything that happens after that.
No, and rightly said. It's just like my favorite thing in Jaws. It's like you don't see Roy Scheider go back to his family. Like you're like, that's fine. Who cares? They're swimming back. That's all you need. They win. They hug, and then and there you go. That's all you really need in that film. And it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
So really It was a blast. It was a blast. Just a question, since there's still several of you there's plenty of you in chat. Which of you guys have seen it? Because I'm assuming a lot of you guys have seen this film.
I would be shocked if there's more than one person who has not seen this.
If there's anyone who has not seen, I'd be curious. But then also what I want to find out is which one of you guys have not seen this film. Or not seen Top Gun, Top Secret. Like, how many of you guys have not seen Top Secret? Because
Top Secret. Yeah.
That'd be, except for Eric, who's going to tell us all about it. I've seen Top Secret maybe a couple dozen times. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Brady was like, shouldn't we buy it? Because he loves this movie. Brady absolutely loves this movie. It's the pure adolescent ridiculousness.
It's totally dumb film. It's perfectly dumb. Perfectly dumb.
The amount, they were advertising it as the highest number of gags per minute.
Yeah,
dude. It's like it's out of control.
It's every shot has something that is a joke in it.
Yep. And before we get into it, it's just endless, this movie. But yes, so that our final review of Top Gun is buy Top Gun, even if you haven't seen it. Just buy it.
Yeah, Top Gun is great. If
you have a big TV, holy moly,
have a big TV. Free. Yeah, put the volume up, turn the lights down. And enjoy
that should just come with TVs. That should just be on Roku automatically to test whether the TV's any good.
Just like U2 is on every iPhone.
Exactly. Sorry, here you go. It's like
it's interesting because there wasn't it? It was a while ago that like there was movies that were like Avatar was on every TV for a while.
Right.
You know?
Right. This is definitely it. I was just like seeing this in nice big fat HD. It's like
The Matrix was also on every TV when it was streaming.
Yeah, that's true. But yes, so we move on to our second top of the tops.
Before we do that, I'm going to take a small break. I got to use the restroom, and I'll be right back. But before we do that, I'm going to do an ad break. If you guys want to chit chat about stuff, go ahead and do that. I'm taking a 2-minute ad break on our Twitch. For those of you guys know the deal.
When you're back, I'll take a break.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. All right. I'll be right back. Just give me 2 minutes.
Please stand by.
And all right, should be going into. Yep, it's going now. All right, so I'll be back.
Well, now it's ad break chat. How are you doing?
Well,
you feel good?
Yeah, just been working
like crazy.
Working today.
Yep.
But pardon me, it's been good. It's been a good week, but
yep.
I started rewriting that. I'd love to send it back to you to get your opinion.
Oh, yeah. Hit it anytime you want.
Like those notes of just like breaking the narration up. But yeah.
I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. For anyone who happens to be listening, Eric is working on a project that he's been working on for a while. And he's trying out a new media. And it's already looking amazing. So it's very exciting. I've been doing a ton of writing. Probably more writing per day than I've done ever now. Which is good, and it gets you into the zone.
Is it the danger zone?
It is the danger zone. I feel very dangerous.
They opened with the same movie song too.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like I really feel like the first 5 minutes. That's the only nod to nostalgia in that movie, really. It's like they have all the same cuts. They have it's like it's an aircraft carrier, all that kind of stuff.
Sticks in the air.
Yeah, lots of this, lots of that action.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's ultimately like
sequences were genius.
It's just out of this world. Yeah, I mean, like it's like you can see how terrified those dudes are. Like 100%. Like those actors are like. Why did I sign on?
In the planes.
Yeah, it's real deal. It's real deal. And it's shocking. It's incredible what they do. I swear, every time they do that shot when it's like
the insurance
8 seconds.
Nice.
2, 1.
Nicely done.
Done. Back in time. Yay.
Yeah, I think they must have an entire single insurance company that only handles Tom Cruise. Like that's the only client. Cruise is insured by Tom Cruise Incorporated. That's it.
I don't know. I think he's Didn't they do something? He's going to go into space or do something from space.
He's going to be going into space, yeah. And he's got 2 Mission Impossible movies back to back coming out. I just watched a long documentary of how he did one of the stunts for that, and like it's riding a motorcycle.
Well,
off
they do that in the middle of Avatar.
Yeah.
So they showed that in Avatar.
Yeah. It's just insane. Like if that guy gets killed, like going to space, congratulations, Tom Cruise.
Speaking of which, Ken Block died. Ken Block. Do you guys know who Ken Block is?
No.
He's a very famous stunt car driver.
Oh.
He did these incredible look up Ken Block rally car stuff, and he did these incredible drifting, think of it like parkour in a car. Like, he was amazing. And he died. Yeah, he died. And he was really big in like early 2000s. Like, his stuff he did was unbelievable. Maybe later than that. I don't know. Maybe Ken Block.
Ken Block is known for. Let's see.
Didn't you post something about a guy that died?
Yes, his name was Ken Block.
It's that dude.
Same guy.
Ken Block.
But
snowmobile accident, right?
Yeah. No, yes, snowmobile accident. And the guy's name who got run over by his own snowplow?
Oh, Jeremy Renner. Yeah,
Jeremy Renner, and they have to amputate his leg.
Is that actually happening? I heard that was a danger. I don't know if that was actually happening.
No,
I mean he got messed up for sure.
He's really messed up.
Like, it's like, it's like the snowplow in The Shining, the one they get away in. That's what ran over him. Like, that is a very fucking serious machine.
The cat, you mean?
Yeah, it's like that's a monster. That's a monster. So I'm surprised that he lived at all.
He didn't.
No, like, I'm not sure if he's going to lose his leg or not. I know it's certainly that was.
It sounded like that was going to happen.
And then later it came out that he was, I guess, trying to like save his nephew. His nephew was about to get hit by it, or like whatever it was. Like, it sounds like it was similar to what killed Anton Yelchin, like a faulty brake or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing lurched forward and got him. But man, oh man, but that's one of those things, man. It's just like, at that moment you're like, I'm glad that I was in Avengers movies so I can afford whatever this is going to cost. Good God, they're going to have to reconstruct this whole
I don't
body.
know if they made that much money. I mean, there's a secondary character for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, you don't get the good Avengers healthcare. You get the sidekick.
You don't get the Iron Man healthcare system.
Exactly. Well, we wish him well. We wish
him well. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, Anyway. Okay,
he's amazing in Jesse James and the Coward Robert Ford. He plays one of the brothers.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Terrific actor.
Renner tried to get back into the snowcat by climbing on the treads to leap into the cab and got pulled under the treads.
Oh God!
Crushing his chest flat and mangling his legs. That is what Dave Feeney says.
That is a nightmare.
Trying to save his nephew.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a nightmare.
Okay. All right. Sorry. We don't.
Thanks for being upbeat, Chris. Jeez.
Dave
Hell of a fucking guy,
put
though,
it
right?
in our chat. Sorry, Dave.
We have to give a shout out. I mean, we don't know Jeremy Renner. We don't know anything about him. But anybody who's willing to get crushed by a snowplow to save a kid, not bad.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good pull.
That's a maverick move right there.
That's a maverick move. Maverick move, no doubt.
Okay. So this movie we're going to talk about, Top Secret, came out in 1982. No, 85. When did it come out? Come on.
81, 80. No, 84.
84.
I think it's 84.
Okay, so it's around the same time as not the same time as Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun is 86, 87.
Okay. All right. And then this was around the time when they were really goofy comedies were pretty darn popular, right?
Yes.
Airplane is the number one example. And this is the same guys who did Airplane, right?
Yep.
And so they did this. They also did Hot Shots Part 2.
Right.
Right. They did what else? They did all kinds of goofy comedy. This is the Police Academy was coming out around this time. That
right,
kind of
right.
really goofy.
It was the heyday of completely.
Naked Gun.
Yeah.
All of those things. And these were like, this was a very popular theme, right? And the guys who were the best at these were the Abrams guys, right?
Yes. Yeah. The Zucker brothers.
Zucker brothers.
Yes, right.
Zucker.
Is it Zucker's? Hang on. Let me look up. It's this is Top Secret. And yes, this is definitely that. Here we are, 1984. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the Abrams and Zucker. It's Abrams, Jim Abrams, David Zucker, and Jerry Zucker. So the Zucker brothers and Jim Abrams,
right,
are the guys famous for this thing.
And this is very, very. It's goofy to the point of insanity. But there's some gags in here that are just so clever and so.
It is non-stop gags, non-stop
Gaggery.
Yeah. It's like watching. This is like Carrot Top land. It's like it's so much nonsense.
No, it's better than Carrot Top.
Oh, it's a qualitative statement. That was just a volume.
Much
statement.
better than Carrot Top. It's just non-stop, non-stop,
Yes.
right? And to really throw you off, to start it with. You start with Omar Sharif.
Yeah, I know. Famous, legitimate actor. Yes.
He's just doing it for healthcare.
Yeah.
I think he was doing it for fun.
Lawrence of Arabia, Omar Sharif in your goofy.
You open with him, which is the best thing to do, right?
Yes. I mean, Sharif was doing movies like what's the gem heist movie he did? Green Ice or something. Like he was doing some pretty trashy movies by this point, but it's hysterical to see him now because he forgot, like everyone's forgotten all the shitty movies that he's been in around that time period. And we just remember like Dr. Zhivago and Lawrence of Arabia, and then this.
But he also he mainly was acting to pay for his gambling and card playing.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So he, I don't know if you guys.
A big gambler.
He was he'd like to go to the casino for sure, but I think he was actually a very good card player. And
he wrote about cards, right? He wrote
so
about
yeah. So it was a bridge. So he played bridge a lot, right? And in fact, he wrote a column, the bridge column for the New York Times.
That's right.
So so he's really, really into that. So whenever he was running out of money, he just make a movie.
Yeah, fill up the coffers,
and then go back to it.
Go hit the strip again. You're good.
Yeah. In fact, I had a friend of mine who was amazing. He's worked on. He's a dolly grip, but he's like pushed dolly for like Eastwood and like all those guys, right?
Nice.
Like he's a really top level dolly grip guy, and he was telling me these stories of like he was working on a movie with Omar Sharif, and there's another actor who was in it, who apparently was one of the guys from Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. One of the old kings or whatever. But anyway, the two of them were in this movie. And apparently Omar Sharif was just fucking shit-faced the whole time. Right? He's just shit-faced. And apparently they were he was pushing dolly and he had to, they didn't have tracks, they were on wheels because of the way they were shooting things. They couldn't put the tracks down, so we're going to put on wheels. And he said, Omar, I'm going to come through here. So you have to stand behind this area here or I'm going to, hit your foot. Right.
Yeah.
And like, no problem. Greg, don't worry about it. Go, whatever. So except his trash. Right. And so he's like pushed in the dolly. And of course, Omar is right there. So he has to stop the dolly and they yell at him. It's like, don't stop the dolly. He's like, but I was going to run over him. It's like, So finally he's like, okay, just take two. Let's do it again. It's like, but don't stop the dolly. It's like, okay. And so do it. And of course, he's in there again, runs over Omar's foot with the dolly. And like, they told me not to stop. I was like, okay, we'll just do it again. And it's like, and then Omar Sharif apparently just like, he just says, okay, fine. Hold on. And then just nails it.
Yeah,
it was like just perfect.
And they shake it off, squeeze out some of the gin, and let's do it. Nice.
Yeah, apparently it was like, holy shit, like you could barely comprehend him, and then like, hold on, I got this.
Yeah,
boom, nails it. Like,
that's it, man. The muscles kick in, the muscle memory kicks in.
Yeah,
and then overrides everything. Yeah, I mean, like that entire school of actors from like the 50s through the Oliver Reed, you know, all these guys, just all souses, every single one of them. You know, unbelievable. Like, you know, like Richard Harris, you know, all these fucking guys, unbelievable. Just the classic drunks.
Yeah,
but he's hysterical. Everybody. That was how you got through the day. That was how you got through the day.
Bourbon.
Yeah, that's it. Peter O'Toole. O'Toole. That's like both Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah, exactly. They just do complete blitzed. Yeah, boy, oh boy. Because I mean, like you can see it, like in Oliver Reed's in Gladiator, his last movie, and he died while he was making it. And like even when he's sitting still, it looks like someone has a bicycle pump stuffed in his neck, is pushing as hard as it can. His like veins are sticking out, his eyes are ready to go. You're like, oh my god, dude. Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal. But yeah, Sharif is hysterical in this movie. He's actually quite funny.
Right. So he plays a spy.
Really
he plays a spy, and basically he's on a train, and they're on the top of the train. Classic spy film thing, right? And the Nazis are there. So there's Nazis. Okay, so there's Nazis. Nazis.
What does it take place? Who knows?
1984. Exactly. Right? And the music is from the 50s.
Right. Exactly. It's a bit flexible.
It's very flexible. Oh, we lost your audio. Hold on. Tell you when to come back. Nope, don't hear you. Something happened.
Did you lose Dan?
Yeah, well, no, there you are. You're back.
Cat's been chewing on the wires.
You got to get a new mic or something.
I just don't want to drop the $30. I'm terrible.
$30? Jesus Christ. Let me email it to you.
Exactly. That's the next thing. I'm going to get actually, I might gently bump up the quality. And get away from the classic swing arm.
There is a really good mic. If you want to go to 150, to 150, there's an amazing mic that is perfect.
I'll do 150. This is the one you have.
I'll show you.
You don't have a cat though. That's the problem. It's like the.
Oh, you just lost it again.
God damn, it's not a bitch.
There you go. It's back. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
What does the cat do?
It eats the wires. When it's pissed that I'm not paying attention, it comes up and chews on the wires.
That you can just get a new cable. You don't have to get a whole new mic.
You're just going to say you can just get a new cat, Dan. What's the problem?
I thought he was going to say that.
Lord
all right.
sakes.
So Omar Sharif is okay. I'm not going to go through it because it's too much to go through this whole thing. But basically, there's this train gag thing. There's Nazis, right? He's fighting the Nazi. He sees that there's a bridge coming up, and the Nazi's standing on top of the bridge. He ducks, and of course, you hear boom. And then your audio went out again. And then
fucker.
Okay. Then you look up and the guy is standing and the bridge is destroyed, which is hilarious. Okay, so this is the kind of gags.
That's the level. That's the
level of where we're going.
Sub Muppet Show jokes.
Yeah,
is what we're aiming for. It's like it doesn't get any more complex than this.
No.
It's just like the camera is running as many jokes as you
Before I get too much into this, Eric, you said you had some feelings about this film. You enjoyed it, but you have issues.
There was some of the prop stuff was good. It just doesn't hold up for me. You know, I love comedies, obviously, but it just was like, oh Christ! And it was. I didn't know the time period. Not like it mattered. But it's very much like Airplane.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Like I would say that Airplane's a better, tighter movie than this. But like Top Secret is the one that I watch more, just because like I've watched it to the point where jokes that didn't land for me before now land because they're so bad. Like
and there's so many of them.
There's so fucking many of them.
So it's almost like you're looking forward to seeing those moments. Like, here it comes.
It's like it's like a dad convention. Like everyone's just like, I got a joke for you. It's just fucking absolutely idiotic.
Yeah,
wholesale.
For me, but there were some really cool gags, like the sight gags that they do. It was fun, but it definitely was. You really have to be. I guess not in the mood, but it's interesting when you guys are feeling like tired or whatever, you want to just veg out and watch movies. You like these kind of movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is the reason why this movie is so funny to me is because it was on HBO and I watched it 400 times when I was like 16 years old.
Right.
And so like it's not that the jokes are all classic. It's not like you're watching Arsenic and Old Lace. It's
Right.
not like, it's nothing like that. It's just that it's just this unbelievable nonstop joke machine, whether it's landing or not. And they're burnt into my brain cells.
Yeah,
now.
Yes.
and
This is the joy of it.
It's great. I just, for me, it's hard sometimes to sit through that, and it's not like I need every movie to have a real takeaway purpose, but I don't find they hold up.
Well, like for instance, this is the way I talk about it. Like when you say like between like Anne and I, like Anne's not a giant action film fan, and I'm not a giant like rom-com fan.
Oh, we've gotten to yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
But like Anne is is easy on rom-coms, and I am easy on action movies. Like,
Right.
and another way to say it is that that I have very good taste in rom-coms, and she has terrible taste because she'll like anything.
Right.
And I have shitty taste in action movies because I'll watch Jim Cotta 5 times. So this is the Jim Cotta of comedies.
Listen, I think that there's some underappreciated parts of this comedy. That
Without a doubt. Because
I think, and it is, you are inundated by stupid jokes, but some of them like are surprisingly very clever.
Oh yeah, there's some great
to the
stuff.
point where like, wait a minute, like this is like, and okay. And the other big thing that they go through this in is everything is deadpan.
Yes. And this is where Kilmer shines.
Yes.
Yeah,
They make everything
it's
super
just
deadpan.
He like that is the absolute key to this kind of humor is don't laugh at it. Like you need to
pretend this is serious.
Yes.
And it's complete absurdity. Pretend it is serious.
Yeah.
And that is hard to do.
Yeah. Like he does not oversell anything.
Nope.
He
Omar
absolutely-
Sharif does a really good job of that too, even though it's insanely stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like him and the novelty gift guy. Like
it's oh my god.
I knew
fake
you
dog.
would like
What
that.
fake
I was
dog
totally-
poo?
what fake dog poo?
That's so good. Oh my god.
Try this cigar.
Bang.
Bang.
Like that scene is actually a sort of like a microcosm of the film.
Right.
It's just like I'm just gonna keep on stuffing jokes in your face. That's what the scene. That's what the entire film is. It's so really like here's a joke cigar. Here, I'm just gonna spray this fucking shit in your face.
Look, you left another joke here. No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
So you think this is a Nazi film you're about to watch, right?
Yes.
But it's not.
It is
because suddenly you are in California,
right, and it's like
skeet shooting and surfing at the same time.
It's
skeet
the
surfing.
It's the 80s. Only suddenly late 50s Beach Boy music is very popular,
Right.
and we go into a
It's
music.
so bizarre that
It's like music
shooting.
video for Skeet. Was it Skeet
Skeet
Surfing
surfing.
USA?
Skeet surfing USA, where you're surfing and skeet shooting at the same time.
Right, and it's like. Like it's just nonsense. It's just an idiot movie, and it's just like, and it goes. They do an entire music video. Like,
They
it's
do.
just the whole
They do,
fucking
and
thing.
all the gags, like as they're falling from their surfboard, they're shooting in the air and shooting down planes by accident because they're doing that.
Oh my god!
There's the girl with the bikini and and she gets up from her back and there's 2 holes in the sand
Shape
where
of
her boobs
in the
were.
sand.
it's such a 50s gag.
It's so
silly.
stupid, right?
It's just dumb. But
Yeah.
it's just like it's like this is the movie doesn't give you any time to adapt
No,
to what it's showing you at all.
it's just going to be like, oh, you better not miss the next gag.
Here
It's
it
going to
comes.
come. It's coming.
But
It's coming.
it's
coming,
also
coming.
so dense that if I paused the screen on like when it says Nick Rivers, it hits the top of the charts with Skeet Surfing USA, it shows the charts and
Yeah.
it shows that there's like a bunch of other Nick Rivers songs that are also in the top 10
About
and
skeet.
and it's
about
all
skeet
about skeet shooting.
skeet surfing.
I'm just like
By the way, there was
the
one
dedication
joke in
is
there.
amazing.
There was one joke in there that I could not stop laughing. That was the Leroy Lehman.
Oh, no, yeah, it's a good. Like, talk
Look.
about a fucking like, the dude who had the fucking what do you call it? The air train or whatever it was. That guy. Anyway, like he's just like when he's listing like
They're
all the
torching.
Yeah.
We tortured them. It's like, well, do you want us to bring out the Leroy Neiman paintings?
It's so good. It's so good.
He only believes things that are written in the New York Times.
Oh my God.
In the New York Post. That's right.
Yes.
He's a complete idiot. He only believes things that are written in the New York Post.
Like when they do that, we're
mostly blind.
Like when Kilmer is captured by the Nazis and he's literally being whipped by Nazis, right? And he's knocked unconscious, and he has this nightmare that he's running through high school on the last day of exams, and this other guy's like, "No, you've missed all the exams. School's over." And it's like, "Oh no, I'm still in school." And it fades back to him being whipped by Nazis, and he goes, "Oh, thank God." Oh, thank God, I'm only being whipped by Nazis. I'm not in school. This is these are now running jokes in my family. Like, we've seen this so many. I'm still in school. It's unbelievable, dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah. So you're introduced to this character named Nick Rivers. It's going to be hard to go through this because again, this is all about the
nonsense. The plot is nonsense.
But there is a plot.
It's all over the map, dude.
Yeah, it's all
over the map.
Like, to loosely say the plot, Val Kilmer is a rock star, right?
He is there specifically for the cultural festival in Germany. It is, and by the way, this is 1985, we said, or 84.
Right. So
Wall comes down in 88, right?
Yeah.
So there's still East Germany and West Germany.
Right.
Right.
This is a Cold War movie. Right?
It's a Cold War movie, except the Nazis are trying to have a resurgence.
Yes.
On the east
There's a
side.
Secret cabal of Nazis that are trying to take over the world again. Is the bad
as
guys.
Nazis.
Right.
And then because it's a Cold War movie, they're playing Beach Boys music.
Right.
Because it's the 1950s, right?
Sure. It makes sense somehow.
Right. And then he somehow figures out that
Nick Rivers is going to go to this cultural festival, go to Germany, and at the same time, because who was going to be playing there? It's not Engelbert Humperdinck.
Mel Torme.
Mel Torme. That's the running joke of Mel Torme.
Right.
And so he was going to be playing there, but pulled out the last second. And then so they have to get Nick Rivers to sub for him. He's a giant hit, but in the middle of all this, he accidentally interferes with the Nazi plot. The Nazis think that he's part.
But he gets involved with the French resistance.
And then, so they think that he's part of the French resistance, and so they capture him and they torture him, and then he escapes and joins the resistance to fight the Nazis. That is the plot of the movie. It doesn't.
And then they have to go. And then at the end,
was the guy was from Blue Lagoon.
Oh, that was.
We'll get to that point in a second. But I'm just going to just sort of so we can just talk about the gags the whole time. Yes, but what they do is he falls in love with this girl, right? And the girl her dad is in prison, and he invented some bomb that they're trying to stop. And so they're infiltrating this prison to save him and escape, right? Yes. That's the whole thing. So it's kind of like Great Escape or whatever kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Casablanca and Great Escape
and all that stuff. All of those movies
mashed together. Right.
All mashed together. Okay, but there's several weird things that happen throughout this whole process that are hilarious. One of them I want to talk about specifically, which is one of the longer gags, and it's hilarious. And it's the Swedish bookstore, because there's a lot of history to that Swedish bookstore story, right?
Go for it.
So, Peter Cushing,
the classic, amazing. Everyone knows him as the Grand Moff Tarkin, but if you watch any Hammer horror film, he is a superstar. The guy is amazing. Peter Cushing is a classic, absolute classic.
Right. So, but he is Grand Moff Tarkin, right?
Yeah.
And so the joke, so it's non-stop. And so they go to basically the Swedish bookstore to get information about what's going on. But because it's Swedish, instead of speaking Swedish, what they did is they actually filmed the whole thing backwards.
Right.
But pretended that it was forwards. And so
ran it forwards.
Yep.
And so everyone's voice is backwards, which sounds Swedish.
Which sounds Swedish, right?
Right.
Now, there's
Swedish
another
the same style as the Swedish chef from the Muppets. That's the kind of Swedish.
Yep. And if you've listened to our TikTok, you'll know that that's exactly what we did when we did the backwards and forwards.
We learned
the palindrome of the thing, right? Okay. So as that's happening, though, the first opening gag of it is he's got this giant magnifying glass in front of his face, right? Which makes his eye look really big because he's got a magnifying glass, and he takes the magnifying glass away, but his face is still really big and he's got a really huge eye.
Yeah, it's just enormous.
Right? Which they do a lot of those gags specifically like that.
Right.
Now, the reason that's such an important part of history is because in order to make that mold for his face, they did a cast of his face, right? That cast of his face was used in Star Wars for them to reintroduce him as in the movie
when as a CG character
as a CG character. Yeah. So they used his cast of his face to and scanned that to reconstruct the Rogue One.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's pretty great. So like, Top Secret is actually part of Star Wars history. That's pretty amazing. Yes, yeah, because like I think that it's too bad that Peter Cushing is part of the club of older English actors who are not going to remember for their greatest roles. But at very least, some decent use was made of that. Because Rogue One's a pretty good movie, and it also led to Andor, the only truly great Star Wars thing in the past 15 years.
Right. So just that Peter Cushing thing is kind of an important thing. But anyway, in that gag also, they keep it kind of, you're not quite understanding what's going on because they acted out backwards pretty well until suddenly they do things like flip books back and they like have this weird anti-gravity thing.
Like Val Kilmer takes a book and he throws it perfectly back up into the bookcase because when they filmed it, he knocked it out of the bookcase and he simply caught it.
Right.
And so like, and then
but they also do this thing with the dust, like it was like the dust goes
exactly. Right. And like the dog runs through the scene backwards
and then they slide up the fire
elaborate. Pole. It's like it's such a dumb gag, and they spent so much time.
They spent so much money on props. It's unbelievable.
It's. I mean, like
practical effects were like just all prop department must have gone insane.
Well, it's like
you guys give me one.
Go ahead. It's like Dave 3D points out like the giant phone gag, you know.
Where they do that all throughout this. Just tell me exactly what happened to the giant phone. It's just very simple, but it's a perfect gag.
Shot of the Nazis, right? And the phone rings.
Wide shot.
It's a super wide shot. And you see the Nazis way in the background. And this phone
is in the foreground.
In the foreground of the camera. It's a very important call, and the phone's right up in the shot. They walk up, and it turns out that they're actually very close to an enormous phone. like it's just fucking so silly. It's so silly, and it's like because I think of the way that comedies are generally terrible now. Like it's like all comedy has descended. All comedy in movies is generally just turned into ironic self-deprecation a go-go. Like they're like especially in whatever Avengers movies where it's like constantly making jokes at your expense and the believability of the film, and then that sort of bleeds over into virtually every comedy that you see on Netflix. And I'm just like, it can be funny, and the timing can be, if the timing's good, it can be funny, but it's like, it's very self-conscious comedy, or it's just like, it's essentially defending itself against your criticisms by saying like, I know the jokes are stupid, so I'm just going to be cynical, right? Whereas this is like, it knows the jokes are stupid, so it's laughing as hard as it can. It's like, this is it celebrates how dumb this is instead of making fun of it. And like, I think that's the key to the whole movie is like, it's so shotgun dumb to the face that it's really joyous as opposed to being sort of snarky. And I think that's a kind of comedy that I wish would come back a little bit, because it's like it becomes depressing to only hear cynical, ironic comedy 100% of the time in all media. Like that's a drag. You know, like get a little bit more silly. And actually, like I would say that the kind of comedy that this movie is the kind of comedy that people make for TikTok.
Yes.
Like it's absolutely ludicrous, and it's really, really fun.
And it's 10 seconds. Yeah. Imagine just 90 minutes of TikTok jokes.
Yes, exactly. And like
this is what this is.
Just flipping through them, you know. And so like I think that they're like this. My kids love this movie, and we watch it a lot. And I think that that's what it is. It's like it's so fucking.
You guys
refreshing.
watch Top Secret?
Yes. And like it's such a refreshingly silly, fun experience.
Yep.
That it's not really concerned with doing it particularly well. It's just the fun of doing it, and that's what really sells the movie.
Here's the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It made $20 million.
It made 20 million.
Yeah. Airplane made 171.
Yeah.
Hot Shots Part 2 made 133.
Right.
And the Kentucky Fried Movie made 7.1.
Right. Well, Kentucky Fried Movie was like 78, 79, and that was in the forefront of that stuff. Yeah. And then it really hit with Airplane. Made a ton of money. And so this is probably seen as a big bomb for them.
I love Airplane.
Oh, Airplane's great. Airplane is an absolute comedy classic.
Like, but I like this at the level of Airplane, honestly speaking, because I think there's something about this that is just that. So to me, it was comedies were like a good comedy was like nonstop gags.
Yeah.
Right. If it was just a slow story, then it was not as funny to me. I just wanted to laugh. When I was like at a young age, I wanted to laugh. And this is just laugh. Right.
Right. Because I think that Airplane is a tighter, funnier movie, and it's more of a classic actual comedy. Right. But that's not what this is. This is like hanging around with people telling jokes. Like it's just raw fun. Whereas like Airplane is still trying to be a movie. Right. Like, and it's closer to like to something.
They probably had the full confidence, pardon me, mm-hmm. of like, because they made 171 million on Airplane, they kind of just
went full bore on this thing. Yeah. And which is like
totally like the Wachowski brothers,
right.
And the second of Matrix, we'll just do whatever we want.
Well, because like it's too bad that Kilmer suffered from this. Like it's because Kilmer is in, like we brought up Real Genius before. It's like Real Genius is like bombed horribly, and even today people don't know it very well. And because like there's so many other movies that are kind of like it around the set, like Weird Science and all these other shitty movies.
Yes, you get that confused.
And so like and this movie comes out and it's a real work of art. Like it's incredibly well made and extremely funny. And Kilmer is like through the roof great. Like it's a star-making performance by any standard, but it just gets buried, right? And
you think there was too many of these types of movies?
Yeah. I think it was just too flooded. Yeah, like Top Secret was like at the crest of that, and then underperformed. Even though Kilmer is a standout, and he didn't get the lift from it that he should have. Like, and that happened his whole career. And it's really something. And then that's why he ends up being sort of like second banana great in a number of films.
Like Top Gun.
Like Top Gun. Like Heat, for instance. Like he's one of the best parts of Heat.
So he is.
He's unbelievably good. Yeah. It's a hinge character in Heat, and it's a very small but incredibly well played role.
What is really kind of interesting, like he does straight guy and completely believable thing while joking the whole time.
Right. And that's like he is, especially when he's committing things like the big dance numbers in this.
Yes.
Like I'm just like, it's fucking shocking how well he does this. He's a really good dancer. He's delivering the good. He's delivering the.
He's doing it a little just to give people. He does kind of a little bit of an Elvis Presley thing, right?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Right.
And he's doing the dance, and the girls crying over him.
It's awesome.
So they do this whole thing where the girls are little in their petticoats, just like crying.
Right. It's like a Beatles concert, right?
Beatles, and the one girl that he's singing to is way too young. Like,
so it's totally like
one of those girls is a Zucker child.
Yes. Oh, your mic went out, and you're screaming into it. No. There you go. You're back. All right.
There we go.
Yeah. The it's she just passes out from
falls off stage. Yeah, it was just like it's perfect. It's like, and he just keeps on looking straight ahead, like it's hysterical. And like I actually love it, like that. She's like 13? Even if she were, she's like 13, right? And so it's uncomfortably young, which is to me a great joke on how fucking weird this is, because this is like what was being sold.
And he's singing to like how he can't live without her.
Yeah, it's super awkward, right? And he's just like, oh, baby, please, all this kind of stuff.
Baby, please.
And she's like sobbing and all this stuff, and then he just looks away, and she like passes out, and he's like, whatever.
You just hear
falls off the stage, Kelsey Grammer style. Nobody pays attention whatsoever. Right. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
But he also does this thing where he's like, he's leaning, like he's holding the microphone, right? And he keeps pulling it, and they turn the microphone into like a rope, but it just looked like he's stretching the mic stick around the thing.
Oh, dude,
and it's insane. And then he's like, oh, I can't live without you, because this is the title of the song, and the girls are crying, like, oh,
right.
You know? Yeah. And he's like, and so he's like, he puts his head in an oven.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do without you, baby.
And the girls go, no,
why is there an oven on stage? Who knows?
No, and he's like, no, and then he lays down on railroad tracks, like, no.
Oh, it's
so stupid.
It's so dumb. So I mean, it's just like you have like the elaborate dance sequence that he does with the main woman. When they're sort of like doing this weird German dance and having all this dialogue.
And he goes,
I was like, yeah, oh my God, it's insane. The amount of work that goes into this shit is just like, it's
by the way, that is a great Pope in the Pool thing, because they talk about why there's the resistance and what they're doing, and how they're talking about the political climate between East and West.
Right. And this very serious dialogue. Yeah, exactly.
Very serious dialogue while doing this ridiculous, elaborate dance.
Because young people in your country don't know what they take freedom for granted and all this kind of stuff.
And they're like, beep, 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 beep.
It's so fucking silly. Unbelievable, man.
And then they had, the other gag that is classic. This is classic dad joke lines, like, oh, we'll hide here in the janitor's closet. They open it up and there's a janitor in the closet, right?
Right.
Yeah. They close that door. It's like, oh, we'll hide here in the prop room. And they open it up and it's full of propellers.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my God, it's just insane. And then when he performs for the Germans, when like he thinks he's the guy that they're talking about, like,
all right,
maybe we can get him to come up here and sing, and then they're actually talking about like some
Nazi, no. He's actually Russian.
I'm sorry, Russian guy that's come. Yes, exactly. Yes. He's obviously like an opera singer, right. And Val Kilmer's less like, oh, I can't believe they want me to sing, and he gets up on stage. And it goes into this like Busby Berkeley level fucking presentation. Yeah. That was just like, they had, like you're saying, like they have so much confidence going into making this movie that they're just like, let's fucking swing for the fences, and they totally do. And I think that's
and it's almost like it didn't need to make sense. Just
exactly,
it doesn't need to make sense at all.
Just get the gags in there. That's what people are there for. And I think that I think that complete oversaturation is what, like, for you, it's like, I mean, I get it. Like, there's so much in there that it basically, there's no story, no setup, no follow through. Half the jokes work, and it's a giant mess. But that, for me, that's
so much.
It's like this goulash where you're just like, it's just the pot is just filled with shit mixed up and served out as fast as they can possibly make it. It's just hysterical, dude.
Well, it's funny because like so Brady has this term. I think Karen taught it to him, but like whenever he watches a movie and it's like a serious movie or it's like exciting, it's like, oh, that's a lot to digest, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He doesn't like to go to bed right away, right? Because it's too much. So he needs what he calls a palate cleanser, right?
Right.
And so to him, watching an episode of Frasier or whatever is a palate cleanser. But this movie is like a palate cleanser. It's like, you can just watch this and fuck it.
Exactly.
Now I go to bed. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not overthinking anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
shut your analytical brain down. Just enjoy it. Listen. Latrine. The latrine joke in itself, this is a running gag.
So good. So good.
Every time they have some news to show up, they go to the French Resistance. All their names are ridiculous, right? So you have
Croissant,
and then Déjà Vu. Haven't I seen you somewhere before?
Yeah,
and the black guy, of course, his name is Chocolate Mousse.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. All this stuff.
And then every time they have bad news, this one character comes up called Latrine. And he's always looked like he's coming out of a gunfight,
like shot to shit. He's just like
latrine, and he's like, oh, and he
this terrible thing has happened. Yeah,
this terrible thing has happened, and this happens over and over again. He's always shot to shit. Like,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it came from.
And at one point he says latrine, and it's like, and he's like, lay down here, and they put him lay him on the dirt against a log, but then they put like a pillow behind him with all this little doily stuff on it. just like where did they get the pillow? And they're just like, here, be comfortable on this pillow.
A lot of those gags, like the binocular scene with the cows walking through.
The binocular. Okay, so this is a classic top secret thing, the binocular scene, right? He pulls up these binoculars, he's looking through the binoculars, and as you see it in movies, the way they show binoculars in movies is they show the shot, but it's blacked out and it has the shape of two circles put together. That's how binoculars look in movies.
That's the language of film.
It's the language of film. Right. But what they actually did is they made a giant cutout black thing, right, that they put in front of the camera that's on the ground, and there's cows behind there, and the cows walk over the circle into the other side of the binocular. And it is just, they play with foreground. They do a lot of foreground background.
Lots of stunts like that. Lots
of stunts like that.
But yeah, I mean, like they like there's even stuff in this movie, like we brought up before, like there's references to things that are completely lost to time. Like nobody knows what the Blue Lagoon is, right? But it's like somehow this still plays. It's so fucking silly, where it's just like the main woman tells a story about how she, when she was young, she boat sank and she grew up on this island with this other boy, and it's the Blue Lagoon. And so
Blue Lagoon, but that's a popular film at that time,
right? And so with Brooke Shields and all this stuff, and where it's like what if this incredibly beautiful young couple, like, children grow up and they come of age and they fall in love and all this kind of stuff on a fantasy island, right? So they do all this. The entire set literally looks like Gilligan's Island, like they're just straight up doing Gilligan's Island,
right? But it's also about like they grew up and became suburbanites because they had
exactly
they built a house out of bamboo that has a garage door opener.
Garage door, all this fucking junk.
And she's got a shopping cart and picking fruit off trees.
The shopping cart's made of bamboo and all this kind of nuts. So they play that gag as long and as hard as they possibly can, and then she comes out of the flashback, and then that's that joke. And then when that guy actually shows up as the leader of the resistance and she thought he was dead, he shows up in the room and he's shirtless, has like palm frond bikini, and is completely greased up. Just like, yes. This is perfect.
And she's like, oh my God, Nigel, you're still here.
You're still here.
You're still here. And she shows up and she's got a tape measure on her, like, for a seamstress. And he like puts his arm up and does his bicep, and she's measuring how thick the bicep size. Right. And Val Kilmer's rolling his eyes like, oh God.
Oh my God. I know how dumb this sounds. And I promise you, it's so much more dumb.
It's so stupid, right?
But this is the thing. It's gonna be like, I think that there's, like, for instance, the literal funniest movie I've ever seen is Young Frankenstein. Like, it's impossibly, it's a perfect movie. It's a perfect representation of the movies they're trying to make fun of and also love. Yep. And it's so tightly cut, and the jokes work so well that it's just like they don't have to tell you zillions of jokes because the time is filled with you laughing at the joke they just told.
Right.
Like, that's like, if you're talking about a real classic bit of work, that's where this is at. No, that's where Young Frankenstein's at. Like, a step down, still incredible for me, is Blazing Saddles, which
I flipped those.
Well, this is the thing. It's like Blazing Saddles is.
I think Blazing Saddles is like, flawless.
Well, this is what I mean. It's like this fits into exactly what you said before, because like for me, like the filmmaking of Young Frankenstein is what makes the joke so tight that it pushes it above everything. But with Blazing Saddles, it starts to lean way more towards volume of jokes. It's enormous in Blazing Saddles, and they're working. That's like an 80% hit rate.
But they're also pushing a social thing.
Yes, like it is near like so. Not like when I'm comparing these two, these are two works of pure genius. Like absolutely, like these are both incredibly well made movies, brilliantly put together. Like it's like Young Frankenstein is much more the art film of the two, because that like he's playing into like really replicating a very particular look, vibe, and thing, whereas like Blazing Saddles, it's a lot looser, and there's a lot more room for literally 150 more jokes. And though they don't hit quite as hard and as tight as Young Frankenstein, like there's 100 more of them, and they're all almost A+. And it's wrapped around an actual like still the best anti-racism film I've ever seen. Like it's just
right.
Which
you
phenomenal.
You can't show that today because people would think it's racist, which is
even though the movie's
the greatest irony of that film.
Like the movie is very like it could not be more anti-racist. That's the whole point. The jokes,
but that's the thing. That's because this is specifically this is what Mel Brooks does so well, and he says the best way to fight Nazis is to make fun of them. Right? And so the best way to fight racists is to make fun of them.
Right? And he's unafraid.
And so you actually portray here is how stupid racism looks,
completely unafraid
by making
things.
So it's like, oh, that sounds very racist. Exactly.
That's what it's fucking saying. Exactly.
That's why it's funny, and that's it's like if you make racists look stupid.
No, this is like HBO had to put a warning up in front of Blazing Saddles because people were so offended by it, and what they're being offended by is the language in the movie, right? Which is to say that there are racists in the movie who are saying racist things.
They're saying the N-word a lot.
Like that's the whole fucking gag of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like
when you see a bunch of white people using the N-word. Yeah, it's gonna shock you. Yeah. Exactly.
It should. That's the point of the movie. Yeah. And it also it still has one of the when the new sheriff is coming to town for the first time, he's black, and the town is flowing through racists, like absolutely, right? And so when he shows up, they're like, this is the guy that's going to protect us. He's black. We're racists, right? And and Cleavon Little, who sadly did not have the career he should have after this movie, because it's possibly the greatest comic performance of all time.
That's another question. I'm always was curious about that because he was so damn brilliant.
It's It's one of the all-time greats. Like this is like when I brought up Arsenic and Old Lace. It's like it should have been for him what Arsenic and Old Lace was for Cary Grant. You know, like it's like this is like something I've never seen before. But when he he sees that the crowd is against him, he pulls a gun on himself and says, nobody moves or I shoot. And this whole thing plays out where the crowd of white racists says, no, we must protect this man from the dangerous black man who he is. Right? And if we have to protect him from the dangerous black man, and then the guy that he's like, do what he say, do it. So he's playing this these two cartoon characters to play off against these white idiot racists, and he gets out of the scene. He saves himself from these bozos, and then he gets off stage and then gets on the next scene and he just looks at the camera and goes, "Oh my God, these fucking morons!" And you're just like, yeah, and it's such a clever way to say, like, you may think you're not racist, but this is still baked into you. Like you have this negative reaction. And then you suddenly want to be the hero for the same person. Like, I was just like, this is that's something you can't make a joke out of. And they made a joke out of it. Like, it's an incredible bit of work, right? And that's in the middle of this comedy that is fucking wall-to-wall jokes. Well, like, Blazing Saddles is nothing but jokes, silly jokes all the time. And so this is when we get to Top Secret has no social statement, barely has any filmmaking skills in some places.
I disagree.
And the needle,
there's filmmaking skills.
Yeah,
Top Secret. Top Secret is making fun of film.
Oh yeah, like there are set piece sequences that are incredibly well done, right? And so but it is a big, sloppy, silly movie that isn't there to do anything but make jokes, whereas opposed to Blazing Saddles is a sloppy, silly movie that has a very keen point that it wants to make. And it's disguising how sharp its point is by being sloppy and silly.
Well, I think what Top Secret's doing is it's saying, I was like, okay, let's combine it. And the fact that these are awkward blends are the part of the joke as well.
Right.
It's like surfing movies, Nazi movies.
We did not understand that. I get it.
Yeah, it's like Frankie Valli and Nazis.
But it's weird. The fact that I couldn't tie down a timeline or where it was threw me off.
Right.
And it just was like,
it's beyond pastiche. It's like it's a whole different level of just like cobbled together silliness. And they like, if you're with the movie, that works. In fact, I would say the more you watch the movie, the more it works, because it makes as little sense as anything else. And so like
you also catch all these random other gags that you miss all the time, right? Like it's just constant.
Yeah, no, it's like they have the, like, I put up the thing on the on Discord, right, where it's like just a little throwaway gag from, where is it?
The ballet scene is the one that cracks the scene.
Like there's a guy reading a newspaper, like the spy handler is reading a newspaper.
Oh, the big oppressor.
It says and you just see it's the Daily Oppressor with a jackboot as its symbol, and it says "Die Festelaten Kulturen eine Big Dealen."
Oh, if you look closely, if you zoom into it, they have the line from the New York Times, which the original line from New York Times is "all the news that fits to print," right? And it says all the news that we're allowed to print.
It's so good, man. The Daily Oppressor. Oh.
The Daily Oppressor with a boot. The boot is the symbol.
So fucking good. Yeah. So if you think that joke is dumb, don't watch this movie. I think that's the warning.
Also, Val Kilmer is on a train and he's painting. He's painting on the train and he's looking out the window.
Painting from life.
Right. And you look at what he's painting and it's just trees with motion blur.
Yeah. It's sort of hysterical. Yeah. Good.
And then there's another joke where they arrive, and this is like literally there's a lot of filmmaking jokes in here, which I actually think is really cool. They're at the train station, they're looking out, and it's like, okay, we're leaving the station, but it turns out the station is leaving.
Yeah, the entire set behind is the thing that's moving. The subtlety of that is really great, because the shot is the classic, like you see Val Kilmer's in the shot like this, the window's right behind him here, and you start see the thing go like this, and you feel like the train is moving. Val Kilmer, when they move the thing, he even does a little like this. Like he moves just a little bit as if the train started moving to sell the gag just a little tiny bit.
Right.
And I was like, that is fucking gold, man. And of course it just slides out of the way.
And the train station slides out of the way. And then to just take it over the top, there's a guy running after the train station and jumping on like he's about to miss the train.
Yeah, about to miss the train station. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's just loads of this fucking silliness. But I mean, like, and there's like one of my very favorite jokes when she says, what is the line? It's such a she says, I promise I'm not still in love with Blue Lagoon guy.
Yeah.
And Nigel. And Val Kilmer goes, well, it's not every day that, and he explains the entire plot that has happened in a single line. Like, when you meet somebody who's blah, 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 he lays it all up like that. And she goes like, wow, when you say it like that, it's like we're in a bad movie. And they both go.
They both look at the. They both break the forehead.
Oh no! It's so dumb. It's just so dumb. I love it so much.
Yeah, they just go like,
yeah, or classic of course, the Blue Lagoon guy is the villain who is manipulating the resistance to be killed by the Nazis. And he's trying to cast shade on Val Kilmer by making him seem suspicious. Right. And how do we even know that he's who he says he is? Maybe he is Mel Torme, right?
Right.
And so he proves that he's not Mel Torme, and by singing
at a pizza shop.
By singing at a pizza shop, this ridiculously complicated bit of business, and he sits back down, and the short dude just goes, "That is not Mel Torme." Something about the line. I'm just like, that's a T-shirt right there. That is not Mel Torme.
That is not Mel Torme. But there's a couple other like hilarious guy. One of the ones that Dave said he loves is that he does a lot of making fun of cliches in films, right?
Yes. Right.
So they're doing the army crawl, lands in front of some boots, and they go up, and the boots are empty. They're just on the field.
Right.
There's a couple of other bootskis where he's at the desk, and it looks like he's got his boots on the table, and then he gets up from the desk, but the boots are still
there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and actually, I think my favorite physical gag in the movie is when they like straight up like Great Escape style, or rather in a Dirty Dozen style, like they start like scratching the ground, like, okay, so we're gonna start here, and then like it's like the camera pans over as they're explaining what they're gonna do, and like it turns from like stones to like then we're gonna dress up as like a cow, and it puts a perfect little plastic cow down. Camera keeps on going, and suddenly you're looking at this like meticulous miniature that they've built in the middle of the field,
and there's a model train going by.
So good. But then they have gags like they shoot the Nazi at the top of the tower, and he falls, and the cut is so good. Like they shoot the Nazi, and he falls, and he smashes into a million pieces.
That's
fucking good, man. It's so good. Like that.
And the other one that was along the lines of the super elaborate, the Swedish bookstore, is they fight, and they fall off a bridge into water.
Oh Jesus! This thing I forgot about this.
That was the best one. That's
this
really
is
clever.
So
that was
great. This
out of control.
This must have taken a couple of weeks to shoot. It's so ridiculous.
But was either that was Val Kilmer?
It's Val Kilmer.
It is.
That is underwater. It's a tank in like Universal or something.
Yeah, like there's shit.
Pinewood, so they did it in a tank.
So like it's an entire they fall down fighting, right? They're fighting underwater.
They're fighting underwater
until it slowly becomes an entire Western saloon underwater with people playing cards, and like nobody has any gas masks or oxygen tanks on. Like they're just like sitting there underwater and having a giant brawl, and it's so well coordinated.
Completely
I was just like,
underwater.
How did you fucking do this? Because like they're all weighted down, so they're really throwing punches and doing the whole thing and kicking back through windows. And I'm just like,
that was Val Kilmer, right? Because
that's got to be. It's him. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, they choreographed that probably in a gym, and then they do it underwater, and people with tanks sit by them. So they
sure, oxygen. Yeah. But I mean, just to get a single shot, you're talking about like hours of setup to do that,
right?
And like they must have
We should do a TikTok like that.
Oh yeah, like that big underwater TikTok.
Underwater TikTok for Martini Giant. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
We can film it like the Radiohead video. We'll just get a fish tank, put it over our heads, and fill it up slowly with water while we talk through while we quote a movie. I'm able to do that and go to the hospital. But yeah, dude, this movie is like there's a whole slew. I said it before, but it's like there's an entire range of movies that I saw only really on HBO, and I saw each of them 1,000 times. Top Secret is one of them. Outland. What's the Matthew Modine bicycle movie? All this
Modine bicycle movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Matthew Modine, but he's like
My Bodyguard.
My Bodyguard was definitely one of them. Good Lord. All this shit. Just like it's like I watched so many fucking movies when I was a little kid because it was just the thing that I could put on the TV. Because I was either that or just like shitty daytime TV. And so we'd have the HBO and I ended up watching, 9 to 5, like 50 fucking times.
Dave Eady said Krull was running on HBO 5 times a day. Yeah.
And I like,
what the other one was? God, what's it called?
I'll tell you right now, that one was that I used to watch all the time, and I'll pull it up right now. You keep talking.
What's the one? The Greek mythology.
Oh, that's Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. And Ray Harryhausen right
that
there.
one was on HBO nonstop.
And I still watch that movie. It's such a weird movie. It's so out of time. Like it feels like it's from 1960.
George Hamill.
The one I remember is Tempest with Cassavetes and Molly Ringwald.
Oh yeah. That's right.
That was always on.
Yep, that's a big one. Yep. No, you're thinking it's Harry Hamlin.
Harry Hamlin.
Yeah, Harry Hamlin, who's on LA Law.
Who was LA Law guy.
LA Law. But yeah, no, another one that I just rewatched recently, and it was
Summer Lovers.
Summer Lovers. Oh my god, with what's the fucking song by the Pizza Terror?
It's Chicago.
Sorry, yeah, that one. Yeah. Oh my god, I used to cry listening to that when I was in 7th grade. But anyway, the movie that I was thinking of that I just rewatched this past year, and I was worried that it was going to be shitty. Turns out it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. Is The Hitcher. And The Hitcher.
I do want to see The Hitcher again.
Oh my god, that movie is awesome.
A good. Yeah. I think I believe you. I would like to see that again and see.
Yeah, we should cover that one. That was shocking.
That's a good. Remember The Hitcher?
Yeah. Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer, one of the scariest villains.
And who was the guy? Who was the young guy in it?
C. Thomas Howell.
C. Thomas Howell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
who's actually
who played Ducky in 16 Candles.
Yeah, and he's C. Thomas Howell is in The
Not 16 Candles, and Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink, right? And in The Outsiders, he is
John Cryer.
John Cryer. Yeah, that's John Cryer. She's right.
John Cryer and Pretty in Pink. So C. Thomas Howell is who, Karen?
He's from The Outsiders.
Oh,
yes.
right.
God, yeah, talking about racist. Holy shit. That's bad news.
By the way, Donna was
Soul Man.
Soul
So
Man
she's
was
Soul
part of it.
Man.
Yep.
Yes,
She was part of that.
That does
era.
not play well. Not play well. Yeah.
We were talked about Soul Man when we did Tootsie.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it was like, Tootsie made it work. Soul Man, not so much.
Yeah, no, because that's because this is not to redo our Tootsie podcast. They'll listen to our Tootsie podcast.
Yeah.
That the key difference between those two movies, why one works and why one doesn't work, is that in Tootsie, it's not like what is funny is not that he's dressed up in women's clothes. Like what is funny is that he's extremely stressed out.
Right.
Like they're not making a gag over being a transvestite, for instance, or being trans. Like they're making a gag out of his anxiety.
Right.
But the opinion of the movie is not the joke. Whereas like Soul Man, that is the joke. Like, look, he's black. Isn't that funny? Like it's not really funny.
Well, they tried to save it at the end with what's his name? Darth Vader.
Yeah, like it's not an
What's his name? What's his name?
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. Like you learn what it's like to be black.
Peter Cushing, Peter Cushing is not Grand Moff Tarkin, and James Earl Jones is not Darth Vader. They actually have careers outside of that. But yeah, like I think that Soul Man was a well-meaning movie of its time. It's not intending to be how people read it today. It's just that it's not well thought through, so it's hard to not be like, what the fuck is this thing?
Right.
And I feel the same way about like White Chicks or any of this stuff where I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is the joke here? But something like Tootsie is very much like there's nothing funny about the setup. The what is funny is you care very much about Dustin Hoffman when he is in this role. And it is actually making his life much, much harder as he tries to protect what is good. Like that's comedy that has value. And so like when you're doing stuff like that, you really need to understand, like Blazing Saddles, for instance, they know what the joke is. Like they can tell, Brooks can tell any jokes he wants because he knows what the target is that he's aiming for. And he's got fucking Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder.
He also had what's his name write the jokes for it.
Oh, and Richard Pryor, yeah.
Richard Pryor wrote the jokes for it.
Because that was originally Pryor was going to be the star. Yeah, exactly. He was originally going to be the star. And honestly,
we know that Richard Pryor did not do any of the black lines.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, Cleavon Little, like he is, like I said, he's this comes out of is this unbelievable fucking perfect performance in Blazing Saddles. But I really got to hand it to Gene Wilder, who is equally as funny and talented as Cleavon Little. Mm-hmm. But the brilliance in Blazing Saddles is he sees how funny Cleavon Little is and backs off.
Yeah, he gives him his space.
He gives him the space to fucking be the hero of the movie instead of trying to rob him of his funny. And it's just incredible. Like the fucking like that one scene. I mean, you've brought this up before. When Gene Wilder is saying to him like, they're the common clay of the New West. Morons.
These are simple folks.
Simple folk. And
these are the soul people. People that love the soul of the earth. Morons.
and they're like, what's funny in the scene isn't Gene Wilder's joke. It's watching Cleavon Little. Like these guys love each other. Like they're such good friends. And like he knows that Gene Wilder is setting him up to break. Like he's just like, this motherfucker is trying to make me laugh.
He's gonna deliver a line that's gonna make me crack up. And
it's so savory. But yeah, like I think that's the thing. It's like I think with this movie, with Top Secret, like the target is jokes, right? There's like it doesn't have anything to say literally at all. Like it's a completely meaningless, frivolous experience. And so like you don't.
I don't know. I disagree. I actually think that there's something to this, and I'm going to just pull a Dan Thrawn and say, hey, you know what, this is a better film than you think it is, because I think that there's some filmmaking jokes in there that are really good, and filmmakers themselves, educated filmmakers, are going to look at that and go, that's fucking brilliant, right?
Yeah, true.
Like Eric brought up the binoculars thing. That was hilarious, right?
It's true.
And the forced perspective gags that are over and over again, and that happens. Like, and then suddenly, like, how do you end up underwater and make it a Western?
That's a movie in itself. That
is just
that's you know what that is? That's confidence. That's having made 171 million with Airplane.
That's great.
So they're just like, fuck it, we're just going to do whatever we want. Let's do that thing we always wanted to do, but we couldn't put it in anywhere.
Right. But to me, I would like, to me, honestly, Eric, when I hear that, like, when I think about that pitch of like, how about they fall off a bridge, they're underwater, and then it slowly turns into a Western. To me, that sounds like something that Eric Shealy would pitch to me.
I love it. It's hysterical.
I don't even think they pitched it like that. I think they were so runaway success with Airplane that they didn't even have to pitch it to studios.
They just made whatever they're going to do.
They do. And that was added on because they probably dreamed that up 10 years prior.
Right.
Underwater.
We got to squeeze this in because it's too fun.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was a sandwich quality to everything, which isn't bad.
And this was this was also at the height. You also remember, politically speaking, where this was. This was at the height of the Reagan years, right?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, and these guys were fairly conservative as well. They were big Reagan supporters.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
They make fun of they
make fun of Democrats quite a bit. Well, in Airplane as well.
they make fun of Reagan once in this movie by saying like an actor is president, right?
Yeah, they make it. Yeah.
But they later on become like very, very conservative and like borderline Islamophobic after post 9/11. Like they're really
are they still alive?
I think so. But yeah, they were making some movies that they started hanging with a very like hyper conservative crowd because the jokes were not funny, they were angry, and they were angry specifically at Middle Easterners. And it's like all the fun went out of that, and it's really too bad because like back Top Secret days, like they're just having a blast, like this is the same kind of fun as like if anyone's seen the Robert Zemeckis movie Used Cars, like this gives me the same kind of joy as Used Cars does, where it's like Used Cars is barely a movie, but holy shit, is it funny? Just like when they make the when they make the ad for the car place, and the guy's got the Texas hat on, he goes, $285. That's too fucking high. Like it's fucking dumb, and that's what makes it incredible. So yeah, like this is the thing is I feel like this is probably closer today to like the way that I was saying the way that comedies don't work today. Like it's like all the SNL movies that came out where somehow they thought it was funny to just let actors riff for a long time and find a joke. And so I can understand where it's coming from, where you're just like, you're putting a lot of the onus on me to put up with you doing your old material. And so it's a little bit of I can understand it's a little bit of a workout compared to like the efficiency of something like Airplane.
Sometimes it doesn't work. Like listen, with just like with SNL skits, sometimes like this is a great idea,
right?
And then it doesn't work. Right?
It doesn't land.
And then sometimes it works for like a 3-minute sketch, and then like let's take that 3-minute sketch and make a movie out of it. And sometimes that doesn't work,
right?
And then sometimes it kind of works.
Yeah, like sometimes they find it.
Like with what's a Superstar with Mary Catherine Gallagher.
That's actually a really good one. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
And it was like, I don't know if they can do this for an hour and a half, but they did.
But they made it work. Yeah, they found a character there that actually got deeper, the more and more interesting than.
Well, it's also the fact that like all the high schoolers are like 40 and 50.
40, exactly. That's like
Will Ferrell as the
is the jock or whatever. Yeah,
jock.
Like it's like it's in the same ballpark as what's the camp movie with Paul Rudd?
Hot American Summer.
Wet Hot American Summer, like talking can of beans.
That movie is along the lines of Top Secret. It is so insane,
ludicrous. Absolutely, that Skylab is falling on.
I Karen took me to see that movie in Brentwood. Like we'd first moved to LA, and she took me to see that thing, and I don't know what this is, and I was like, this is insanely funny.
Yeah,
insanely funny. The sequel of it is really funny too. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like the first one is the classic, but the second one is pretty funny. Yeah. Like it is the kind of humor that if you don't vibe with it, that is not going to work. That movie does not work at all.
Who is the character who's the chef in the kitchen who keeps talking to the
what is that?
Who is it? Chris Maloney.
Yeah. Oh my fuck. Yeah.
From Law and Order. And he's a very serious actor, and he plays the weirdest character in this thing.
Just for the going to town sequence. I love going to town.
I love going to town, and they go on the heroin. Like,
oh my god. Oh my god.
Actually, I also love the fact when, he's saving the kids from the raft, and all he's doing is like sitting in the background, just narrating what's happening. Oh my god, he's really doing it. He's saving them. He's saving them, and you don't see a thing.
It's saving my god. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
He's really doing it.
That crew, like that's a very specific kind of humor.
Yeah, and those are all people obviously that worked on improv groups together.
Yeah, that's like folks from like I think the State and
the State.
Yeah, like that. I mean, that was a very very.
Did you? That's an under like a lot of people don't know about the State from
I love from
MTV.
State. Yeah,
so
State
good.
is fucking hysterical. But like that's they did
Reno 911. That's what they
didn't like Reno 911.
Yeah, it's a very narrow band of comedy. Like it's like if you vibe with this very, very particular brand, it's
also
unbelievably funny.
Trailer Park Boys.
Those are that's Canadian.
Yeah, that's good. I love
they're Canadian. Yeah.
That's a funny ass show to me. That's very, very funny. But yeah, like these are very specific kinds of comedy, and I understand when people don't dig it. It's like hang on, what is it? I think it's the State. Is it? Look out, Hamlet. That's a vampire. Did you know that one?
Yes. No. That's that. Look out.
Oh, that's the whitest kids you know, right?
The whitest kids you know.
Yeah. My god, one of the funniest fucking skits I have ever seen is the assassination of Abraham Lincoln by the whitest kids you know. Like Abraham Lincoln's watching the play, and he's just like. And he's like talking nonstop, and everyone's super pissed off.
And someone finally shoots him.
so people are like on stage, and like the play he's watching is like some weird. It's like Hamlet, but with vampires. And so Abraham Lincoln's going, "Look out, Hamlet!" He's got the hat on. It's like, "Look out, Hamlet! It's a vampire!" And then John Wilkes Booth is sitting down and just going, "Will you shut up?"
That's funny.
The other one that they did was when they did there was an ad executive who was pitching the new commercial that they were going to do for their grape soda. Did you remember this one?
Yeah. Oh my God, the grapist.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to grape you in the mouth.
Oh my God.
I was like, wait a minute.
Is anybody else hearing what I'm hearing?
I'm going to grape you in the mouth. I was like, that sounds like you said, no, I didn't. Oh my God. That's a horrible thing to say. It's like, well, who's this character's name? He's called the grapist.
I'm going to chain you to a radiator. And what was the part?
I was going to chain you to a radiator and grape you in the mouth.
So good. So ridiculous. I mean, like, that's the kind of thing where I'm just like, I don't know, like, I'm not on board with they can't even tell jokes these days, but I'm just like, I do miss the experimental bizarreness of where humor was at that period. Like,
and that wasn't that many years ago, dude.
That's not, yeah. Like, I'm just like, that's like, it isn't like, because I think that there's plenty, you can still tell plenty of jokes today. I just think that people's tastes have gotten way safer. And so it's
playing it safe because they don't want to offend somebody else.
Yeah, and so like it's like there are plenty of comedians that are still telling as raunchy jokes as they've ever told, and like there's plenty of people like that, and it's not like I don't think people's careers are really being hemmed in, but rather I think that audiences themselves are limiting their exposure to things because they're afraid that they will be caught liking something that they will be afraid that they're judged for. And I think that that's too bad. That's not comedians can still, there's plenty of audiences that comedians can make money on. I don't think people are limited in that way. But I think that generally people are afraid of comedy now because they don't want to be on the wrong side of a fight. And I think that that's and this is true generally with, and that's just an aspect of, because like, as I don't put this on like, oh, kids today, and they're like, oh, all the woke blah blah blah. Like, it's more like we also love Marvel films, which are incredibly safe. It's not that they're bad. It's just that they're safe. They're very, very safe.
Too safe.
Right. And like, I'm all for having safe stuff. Like, there's plenty of safe stuff that I like most of the Marvel films. But like, it's the fear of doing something that might be challenging or may put you in a bad light for liking it. Like, people are afraid to do that and to own up to it.
They did that with James Bond films. It was like, you're an old relic and you're racist and you're this and and you're homophobic, not homophobic, right? But sexist, and all
sexist and all this stuff. Which to an extent, like, I mean, like, I think they made some good material out of that in the new Bond films. Like, I hated the last Bond film, but I didn't hate it because it was just like, this is just a bad action movie. Like, it's not being a good James Bond film first. Like, whatever you got to say it.
So bloated. Like, I heard he was like really, what's his name? Was like with the script and really taking control. And
it's just,
he's making a lot of money apparently.
Oh, sure. He made like $1 billion or something off that thing. Like, and all the ad revenue and all that stuff. Like Bugatti ads and watch stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Well, and then it's worth it.
So, yeah. But I mean, like,
Bugatti ad, that's great.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like this. Like, I like Daniel Craig a lot. I think and I like that he takes bizarre roles now. I think that's really fun. But I think that people, generally speaking, it's like comedy's in the same space that everything else is. It's like, we're so filled with anxiety these days that we don't want to risk being more anxious, and so we are more careful about that stuff. And it's safer to make fun of other people mockingly for not being us than it is to be cutting edge and say something with value, And so it's boring. It makes for boring stuff and cynical stuff. And because like I said, like, I think the comedy today is extremely cynical, and that's not terribly funny to me. Like, it ends up being very, very grating after a while. And you watch something like Top Secret, and it's just fucking silly. Like, give me, I'm happy. Well, like, and with Top Gun, like, it's just like, give me the joy. Like, I want to have some joy in my life. Like, give it to me. And then they fucking just give it to you nonstop. And I really appreciate that in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The only thing I want to sort of wrap up a little bit about this is sort of an appreciation for Mr. Val Kilmer, because I think this is something that he was, the fact that he could do Top Gun and he could do Top Secret.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's that doc on him was so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's really legit.
What was the Salton Sea? Did you see him in Salton Sea?
I own that. By the way, I saw a doc this week that I really liked, and I thought it was really a great doc. Was the Pamela Anderson one on it?
Oh, is that good? That's great.
Yeah.
I like
the same day and same year as me.
No shit.
Yeah.
Look at you
look
guys.
The same.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Hey.
Yeah, you're looking good. Yeah, how did that marriage to the millionaire work out?
She, but it's really, she's had an interesting life, tough life at the same time. And strange but true, I actually worked for her brother when I first met.
No kidding. That's wild. That's wild.
It's just, there was a lot of things I learned. I was like, because you kind of thought, in the 90s, kind of a knucklehead. She wasn't. She's not.
No, she's a business person. I mean, she's like,
she's made a lot of mistakes, but I was shocked. I just put it on with my wife, and then I was like, this is actually well made.
Right.
Really I do remember Comedy Central did a roast of Pamela Anderson.
She talks about that.
She does? Because what's her name was on it? What's the wife of the... Oh, God, what's her name? The crazy woman from Seattle. What's the band from Seattle that I'm thinking of? Courtney Love. So Courtney Love was on the Pamela Anderson roast, and she was completely wasted.
Yeah, no way.
And it was like this shit show of Courtney Love, while Pamela Anderson was like, oh my God, this is just watching a disaster happen. It was very funny.
That
Weird,
dude, I can't even imagine.
Strange
Yeah,
situation.
she's a train wreck, set to infinity. Yeah, but like
Courtney Love.
Yeah, like the well, I think I like Pamela Anderson since Barbed Wire, which I actually
talk about that.
I really love Barbed Wire because Barbed Wire is the plot of Casablanca. It's a much better movie than people expect out of a Pamela Anderson Barbed Wire vehicle. It's actually really, really pretty fun. And she
showed the making of it, and they talk about it.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll definitely watch that.
It's really good insight into her, and she spends her time with her mother up in on a small island outside of Vancouver.
Oh, that's nice. Good deal. Yeah, like there's folks like this, like her and Kilmer and all this stuff. Like I feel like they've gotten kind of a short shrift. Like they're more talented than people know. And
I think Val Kilmer is actually like unbelievably huge range. Right.
Oh, without it, yeah.
If you can do Top Secret and you can do Salt and Sea
and Heat and everything else,
everything else,
and The Doors,
and I feel
like this movie was actually what Oliver Stone felt that he could do The Doors. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, he has the chops for singing.
Yeah.
And stage presence right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I saw it. And I said, I bet you, what's his name, saw this and said,
he's my guy. He's exactly and like
as strange as it sounds, that's what I thought.
It totally makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Yeah.
I was actually thought of that, like, oh, I got to write it down so I can mention that on the show.
Yeah.
Because I instinctively I'm like, Christ, yeah.
I honestly think it's also because it's Val Kilmer and he can do really serious stuff. He's not all just jokey. But because he plays it so flat.
It's a role.
He plays it so flat and perfect.
Yeah, deadpan all the way, 100%.
But he has this swagger when he's swinging.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his performance, which was very like this kind of arrogant, kind of Jim Morrison style. Like I said, that was like, there's a little bit.
Yeah, totally did it. Well, there's a move he does in Top Secret when it's in the pizza dance scene where he jumps into a handstand and he makes it like as if this wouldn't shatter my fucking wrists. He just goes.
That was a double.
When I watched it. It's like it's definitely him. He definitely jumps down onto no cut onto his hands and jumps up. It cuts after that for the bigger stunts they asked to do.
Right.
But the confidence and energy that he delivers, and he's just got completely straight face the whole time.
Well, he's doing the slipping on the rug, because that's the whole point. Is like he's cutting the rug, right? And they're literally sliding on rugs in a pizza house, which is hilarious.
Just ridiculous. Yes, exactly. Yeah, but he's like the guy is like he had such physical talent and such delivery and such confidence. And so you see him.
Sorry, der Pizza House.
der Pizza House. Like you see him in. You see him.
Think about Guy. Pardon me. I'm sorry, Dan. Keep going.
Go ahead. No, the name of the hotel.
Guy. Something?
No, it's I looked it up, but I didn't know what it meant either. It's Yiddish for get to sleep. I mean, it's like shut up, go to sleep, go to bed. Yeah, and there's a lot of funny German translation in that movie that I looked up as well.
I know a little German. He's sitting right over there.
Oh my god! And we have to I think we share the same favorite joke, which is just like the singing horse, like this little tiny pony horse.
It's a little pony horse that's dragging him along, and he's
like
singing.
The horse is singing, right? And then goes, and they're like, "Is he okay?" Oh, he's just been. Oh my god, you said it. It's too good.
It's like he's okay. He's just a little horse.
He's just a little horse. He's just a little horse.
It's such a stupid dad joke.
It's fucking gold.
Yeah. So I was at Trader Joe's the other day, and I have to note that, like, for people, especially people who are listening in Europe, and Trader Joe's is one of those places where you can have conversations with checkout people here, and they are engaging and fun, as opposed to next.
The staff though at Traders are really great.
Right. And so I was sitting there, and somehow the guy at the checkout counter and I figured out that we both have a love for stupid dad jokes, and we just kept one-upping each other the whole time while we're checking stuff out, to the point where I could see everyone's eyes rolling back of their heads as we're going through these stupid seagull jokes and whatever else we're doing. But he and I were having a ball as we're scanning all of the stuff and putting them in bags. I was just laughing my ass off with this checkout guy. So these stupid dad jokes are 100% me. Like
it's
this
the
is
greatest.
yeah.
It's the great. Like there's a oh shoot, what's it called? There's a let's see if I can look this up really quick. This really made me laugh. There's a YouTube channel that I watch that is it's a science channel, but it's narrated hilariously. And this guy, I think I have it right here. 1 second.
2-minute papers.
Here it is.
Oh, the 2-minute papers.
No, it's True Facts is what it's called. And so if you look
True Facts. Oh, that's Frank Z. Yeah, he did the slime one.
And it's so fucking funny. He did one on beavers, right?
Yeah. Did you see the one on sea snails?
I haven't seen sea snails.
Oh, sea snails is amazing.
Like I just thought I was laughing too hard. I was like getting cramps.
Oh my god, no! I'll have to say. Okay, go to our Discord. Man. Okay, on our Discord, I'm gonna post my favorite ones because I definitely know this guy.
I love this guy.
And he did another one where Okay, so have you seen these NOAA videos where they take these giant these submarines and they have the scientists talking about this strange fish that they see there, right?
Okay.
So and this is real things, right?
Right. It's all real science.
All science stuff. And they're like, oh, well, this is the so and so and so. And then he dubs his own voice in as if he's one of the scientists making comments. And they kind of go back and it sounds like they're having a conversation. And it's just everything is about like sexually weird things. Like that kind of looks like a penis or whatever, like that type of thing. Right. It's really funny. Really funny. Yeah.
Talking about dentine, it's just the dumbest. It was such a great little sign. Rather not dentine, appetite, what covers your teeth. Like when your teeth grow, the cells that create the dentists are called the appetite, right?
Right.
And he just goes, appetite. That's like a dad joke time bomb. It's like, this is fucking unbelievable. Yeah, the one I would just put up the one on slime molds. Slime molds made me. I was crying.
Slime molds is good. I'll have to play the one about the sea snails because that one I was crying when I watched the sea snails.
One of the funniest things I've seen on YouTube. This guy, I'm
very funny.
Yeah, that's like
very funny, and he's very popular and is very good. And what's cool about it is that he's actually giving you some useful, interesting, science stuff while making jokes about it the whole time.
There were things that I did not know about beavers that are in his little document. I was just like, this. Yep. Here it is. Like I did not know, for instance, that beavers. The reason why they build dams is not because they're planning it out. It's because they've tested. They are attracted to the sound of falling water and want to put logs on top of the sound. That's what makes them essentially build dams, right? Because they hear water going la 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 la, and they're like, I have to put logs on top of that. And so like they literally they'll put beavers in in a lab, and they'll just have a speaker playing the sound of falling water, and the beavers like put some logs on top of that shit right away.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. No. I'm going to watch.
He's done a whole bunch. Yeah. He's done a whole bunch. I gotta play the one about snails. That's one of my favorites. He's done some other ones that are like, oh my god, they're funny.
Yeah, that is something else.
Really, really funny.
Because I think I'd seen one of his like maybe a couple of years ago, and I didn't think to keep up with him, and I discovered the slime mold one. And I started watching through all this shit. I was just like, this is my new favorite.
And that one's really elaborate. The slime mold one is like crazy.
It's really deep. It's really deep. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that organism at all.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Dude, so fun. Yeah, because I'm actually here's a little known fact. I'm a slime mold fan, and there's a great documentary about slime molds that you can watch on Canopy. I'll put up the name in our Discord, and they're really fucking spooky.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy.
They are really. I mean, you want alien life forms, man. That's them. And he gets into that stuff in the True Facts. Only makes it hysterical instead of scary.
But they also put like this, classical music in the background. It makes it funny. And then he keeps talking to his Jerry, the editor, like or
Jerry. No, I'm not going to say that, Jerry. I know it looks like a penis, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
It's all kind of at the basis of mystery science theater.
Yeah, same kind of. Oh my god, when those guys were at the.
But he actually tells you real things about what's going on.
Yeah, real things. Yeah, it's truly great. Yeah, no, the classic. Actually, I would love that. Yeah, like we should do an episode just on the best of Mystery Science Theater because when those guys were at their height, they were truly, truly great. And I still quote them today, like the list of all the manly names, like Oak Backslab. Like, watch that shit literally forever. I wish they brought it back and they did kind of a funny one for Netflix. Man, in the heyday, that was pure comedy gold. Anyway, there we are.
There we are. All right, I want to get going, but thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. We will have this episode will come out at some point, but thank you for joining us on our Twitch, and make sure to follow us on all the usual channels. I'm not going to go through it all, but basically join our Discord. If you don't know where our Discord is, just go to our YouTube and you'll find a link in there somewhere. I don't know. You'll find it. Just look for our Discord. We put links everywhere. We'd love to have you guys join. And thank you, Dave 3DI, for participating. Definitely adds a lot in the conversation. Jason, it's also good to see you, as well as all of our other Martini Giant fans that joined us for our Discord stream. Sorry, our Twitch stream. Whatever. I'm going to start going through this. But definitely check out our YouTube. I think we're going to start putting more stuff up there. So just go to youtube.com/@MartiniGiant. That is the @ symbol at Martini Giant. It will work. All right. But for now, you ready to wrap it up, guys?
Let's rock.
Wrap it up, baby doll.
All right. Drink.
Talk.
Drink.